Well, welcome to UNSW Canberra Oval at Manuka for round 16 action here on NEAFL TV. The Canberra Demons hosting the NT Thunder. I'm Eddie Williams. Alongside me is Chris Coleman. And Chris, a very special day for the Canberra captain, Aaron Bruce.
Absolutely. Today is his 155th game, and I guess you could say there's some sort of symmetry. Today, of course, the 20th of July, 50 years since man reached unheralded heights by walking on the moon, and Aaron Bruce reaches unheralded heights in the NEAFL by becoming the league games record holder.
Well, one small step for the Canberra Demons and one giant leap for the man they call Moose. He overtakes the Thunder great Darren Ewing today. He's been playing in the NEAFL, Chris, since it began in 2011, initially with Eastlake, and now, of course, under the Canberra Demons banner, and he started the day well. He's won the toss, and his side will kick to the Manuka end to the right of your screen in this opening quarter. The NT Thunder going to the left of screen to the swimming pool end.
You know, I've been calling footy of various kinds in various places for many years. I remember Guy Cannon, who used to wear the number 4 for the Eastlake Footy Club in the ACT League in the late 80s and early 90s. As it says on the NEAFL website this week, no better person to have taken over that number from a legend to a guy who will be a legend in Canberra Demons, Eastlake and NEAFL circles for many years to come. But what a game we've got today. A couple of late changes. Jonathan Spina out from the Canberra Demons named side, which means Ben House gets a run from the emergencies list. And the NT Thunder, while entitled to play 23 today, will only be playing 22 with Jeffrey Simon and Joel Jeffrey not in the lineup today. Bo O'Connell not making the move up from the emergency list, but Joel Butterick will. So we've got 2 Buttericks out there, Joel and Jess. We have 2 Williamses out there for the Thunder, no relation in Damien and Chris. Really, Canberra, well, they need to win this one. They go in as red-hot favourites today. They do need to win this one to continue their charge to the NEAFL finals.
Yeah, it's 7th v 10th. The Demons beat Redland last week. The Thunder lost to the Giants. Last time these two sides met, it was a 28-point win for Canberra in the top end, and the Demons won both matches between these sides last year, including a 65-point win here at Manuka in round 11. The Thunder have 1 win from 3 attempts at this ground. They'll be trying to spoil the party a bit, I suppose, for Aaron Bruce and the Canberra Demons today. The players are ready, the umpires are ready. Chris Coleman are about to get underway here at Manuka.
Very different conditions from the last time the NT Thunder ventured out onto Manuka. Last time it was a night game. It was about 3 degrees. It was bucketing down rain. It was blowing in a gale from the south. Today it's a little bit warmer. It's about 7 degrees. The wind is gentle, so it only feels like about 4, but loads of sunshine, no chance of rain, and the ball in the centre of the ground for this round 16 NEAFL clash. And the territory in their away yellow jerseys, the first possession of the game will go to Tip and Woody for the Thunder as he sends the ball into their forward line. So a good start for them, but again, ping-ponging around on the ground at the moment. Plenty of blue jerseys in defence, and it looks like it'll be Osborne who gets, or tries to get a clearance away. Instead, it's going to be rushed. Oh, most unusual rush behind. Hand pass from Osborne goes onto the chest of Tip and Woody, and it rebounds through for a point. So an unusual scoring to start the game, and now a little bit of time being taken to get the ball back into play, and it's the Demons who bring it up the middle of the ground. That's via Martin. Martin goes for a bit of a run, then goes for a hand pass off on the outside. He finds Harper, and Harper then back to Martin. Now Martin looking around for someone to go to. Goes to the man who sets the game's record today in Bruce. And Bruce gets his first possession in his record-breaking game. Sends the ball into the middle of the ground, and he finds Evans there. They work it over the far side of the ground through Harper. Harper, they're going short in possession footy here from the Canberra Demons at the moment. They did this early last week, Eddie, and it worked well for them against Redland to set up a good platform for later in the match.
As Pollock sends the Demons inside 50, he was looking for Carr. He couldn't hold the mark. That'll allow the Thunder to try and clear the ball. It came there by way of hand. There's a pack over the ball now. We'll get a ball up just outside 50 for the Canberra Demons. It'll be interesting to see where Aaron Bruce plays most of his footy today. We know him as a forward, 200 goals in the NEAFL, but he spent most of last week in defence, and it looks like that's where he's starting again today. It's hacked out of defence for the Thunder by Parnell, out towards the boundary line. The ball's kept in play. It comes to Hardy. Hardy shrugs the tackle, goes with the hand pass to Osborne. Osborne will go long off the left into the pocket, searching for Paik. Can't hold the mark. And eventually we'll get a boundary throw in deep inside 50 for Canberra.
Pate getting both hands on that ball, but unable to maintain a grip on it. I just wonder whether it's still just a little bit chilly for these players, and they maybe haven't been able to warm up the extremities just yet. Ball comes back into play. About 20 metres around from the Demons' goal at the Manuka Shops end. Ruck contest won by Hannath. Well, not really much of a contest in the end. He got largely at an unopposed ball into the bottom of the pack. It's been dragged in by a Canberra arm there. We've seen a few frees given for dragging the ball in recent weeks, but that's not one of them. The umpire will ball it up again, about 40 out from the Canberra goal. Ball bouncing around at the moment. Wait to see who gets the clearing kick. It goes the Thunder's way. But it's, again, too many Canberra players around. And at half forward for them, it may have been Carr. No, there's Carr, the target, inside the forward 50. He gets it back off the hand pass now. He'll be able to put it on the right foot. It's on the outside of the right foot. It curls around. But it goes through for a major, and Harry Carr picks up where he left off last week in fine scoring form and gets the first goal of the afternoon. We've got 3 minutes gone, and it's the Demons 6 leading the Thunder 1.
3 goals to Harry Carr in the long sleeves last week. He gets the first in less than 3 minutes here in round 16, and he's really become the focal point for the Canberra Demons in the forward line. He's very versatile. He can play tall. He sometimes goes and pinch hits in the ruck, but he also has the agility to be able to win the ball off the ground and kick through bananas like that. So a great start for Harry Carr and a great start for the Canberra Demons. They're 1 straight 6, the NT Thunder 1 behind.
He's an electrifying player, isn't he? And when he gets the ball, he finds space that nobody else can seemingly find. He'll run what is almost directly into a pack with the ball, and it's almost as though it's just holding the stick over the oceans and it parts in front of him. Great player to watch as we see Alex Smout gearing up to come on. Maybe he's recovering from leather poisoning.
He had more than 46 disposals last week, and he spent the entire 3.5 minutes of this opening quarter on the bench.
Yeah, he must be recovering from leather poisoning from last week. It's the Thunder with the ball now as they go into attack via Little, but the attack cut off, rebounds back towards Hanneth, getting plenty of the ball early in the game. Puts it onto the chest of Tip and Woody. Really exciting player to watch for this Thunder. His pass, though, is low and it's off the ground and picked up by Bruce. Bruce goes for the long handball now, finds Pollock. Pollock about 10 outside his defensive 50. There's plenty of options for him, and they're going to be able to make use of it here as well are the Demons with Baker. He's able to go for a run, puts the ball up towards the hot spot. Pake couldn't hang on to it, puts it, however, taps it forward to Carr. Carr probably could have taken another couple of steps and steady, but instead went for the snap on the run and puts it through for a point. So it's Harry Carr, 1-1-7. Likewise, the Canberra Demons, the NT Thunder, 1 point.
Angus Baker's going to be a real danger for the NT Thunder if they're able to not able to stop him getting the ball in his hands off half back. He can really tear opposition sides apart, and we saw it there as he got the Demons into attack, but Harry Carr not able to convert the opportunity. As the ball comes to ground, it's defensive side of the wing for the NT Thunder, and in the end the ball goes out of play. We'll get a boundary throw in on the outer side underneath the big light tower here at Manuka Oval. Demons by 6 points. We've gone nearly 5 minutes in the opening quarter. And we talked about Alex Smout, more than 45 touches last week. He was kept very quiet by Aspley the week before, or a couple of weeks beforehand. So a key to keeping Canberra quiet is to keep Alex Smout quiet. It'll be interesting to see how the NT Thunder approach that this afternoon as they look to move the ball into the corridor, but it's been chopped off by Cal Evans. Evans goes inside 50 for Canberra. He's looking for Harry Carr again, and he takes the mark.
Well, Carr's having a day already. You mentioned that he's become a bit of a focal point in the Canberra forward line, Eddie, and it's again something we've spoken about this season is that really Canberra historically have never had that 1 point up forward, and we've seen it a lot this year that they've had 7, 8, 9 goal scorers, but today they're using Harry Carr as the target. He's
on his way. The right foot drop punt from Harry Carr. The goal umpire barely moved. Carr's got 2. He's 2-1-13. The NT Thunder 1 behind.
Can't ask for much more from the Canberra Demons. We've talked about it as well for them in the past, that they do need a couple of percentage boosters. They've had a couple of big losses early in the season that they're still carrying on the ladder, so they really do need to have a big win. And they will have penciled this one in, with bearing in mind this Thunder side really going through a rebuild. It was announced before the season they were going through a rebuild, and compared to when I saw them play in Sydney earlier this year, I think there's 6 players who are playing today for the Thunder who weren't even on their list in that round 2 or 3 clash it was that I saw up in Sydney. So they really have had a lot of player turnover, a lot of players finding their feet. It's been difficult for them. Their supporters have stuck with them, and good signs for the future. There's plenty of talent there, but at the moment just a little bit of a bridge in the Canberra side. They'll be looking to make the most of that opportunity and that skills mismatch today. More than half of the NT Thunder players today are playing in their first season of NEAFL footy, so certainly a team that is building. As we see play getting back underway in the middle of the ground, that bounce went outside the centre circle, so we'll have to do a redo. It's Alex Pake, the second string ruckman, going up here for Canberra. And from a Canberra perspective, that forward line now, which has Pake, Corbett, Fall, Carr, that allows someone like Aaron Bruce to go into defence and shore up Canberra at the other side of the ground. Pake won the hit out. He couldn't find a teammate
Opportunity for the Thunder to try and get a clearance. It comes out the back there towards Delahunty. His kick is towards the wing. Osborne gets in the way. He taps it on, and now Canberra win the footy. Highmore gave off the hand pass. Now the kick from Smout comes towards half forward. It's off hands. Powell was waiting at the back. The ball won't quite get to him yet. And the Thunder should be able to escape and rebound off half-back.
Monagatti was the man who got the ball away for the Thunder, but there's only, there's actually nobody inside their forward 50 at the moment. Plenty of blue jerseys back. Owen Orban gets involved, gets his first involvement for the day. Still trying to get the ball away from the bottom of the pack. It's gone the Thunder's way, though. A few players streaming forward. Bounces around a couple of times. Wait and see who can actually get here. Tippenwoody is waiting for it, but again, he's been outmanoeuvred there. I think it might be Richardson who got onto it for the Canberra side. Now it's with Powell. Powell goes for the short ball, looking for a teammate, but it's been turned over. Kicked clear towards the boundary line. It's trickling towards the line. Will it stay in play? Oh, clever little play there by Brodie Carroll to keep it in, and then gets it around to Abe Ankers, who tries to play on and get a ball in towards the goal, but it's trickled over the line, and it'll be a throw-in. About 40 around from the Northern Territory Thunder goal. And, that's a boundary umpire who's had to do a lot of sprint work there to go and chase that one down. No ball, no spare ball in that part of the ground. So it'll take a moment for the throw-in to take place just outside the forward 50 for the Thunder. And still Pake in the ruck contest for the Demons. Gets himself in the front position and then lets himself get run around as he holds his position, taps it down, and it goes towards Carr. Carr, who's moved back up the ground there. A little bit of a push for Smout, but play on, says the umpire. Templeton it is who puts the ball into the forward line for the Thunder. Chasing after it is Williams. Chris Williams can't get a control of it. Kicks it towards a teammate though. Plenty of yellow jerseys at the moment. But again, it's the Canberra side getting in front and playing in front, and it's Powell who turns around and on the rebound now. Sends him into the centre square via Pollock, but Pollock can't get a handle on the ball. Might wind up coming back to him. No, instead it goes around through hands to Harper. Harper kicks into Pagan's paddock up in the forward 50. There's only one man who's going to be able to get the ball there. It's Parnell for the Thunder, but he's tackled, brought to ground. Gets the ball away fairly, had no one to get it to. Hardy takes it off the ground, puts the snap through. Has it been touched on the line? It has just been touched on the line. Desperation footy from the Thunder. And the Demons move on to 2-2-14. The Thunder, one solitary point, 9.5 gone in the first quarter.
Fantastic solo effort there by Mitch Hardy. Just couldn't quite cap it off with the goal. The kick into play has gone out of bounds on the full. The ball will end up back in the hands of Harry Carr if he can reach over the fence to fetch it.
His arms aren't that long, Eddie. Oh, he's got it now. Just enough reach.
He really wanted that ball, Harry Carr. He chips it inboard for Cal Evans, who marks too far out to score. Sign
of a good full forward, always wants the ball.
Every player is in the Canberra Demons forward half of the ground as Evans looks to drive the footy towards full forward. It's in the Corbett direction. The ball comes to ground. The Thunder should be able to get out of trouble, but Smout lays a good tackle. Powell's applying pressure as well. The kick out of defence is to a sea of Canberra Demons. It lands in the lap of Angus Baker, who again sends Canberra into attack. He spots Pollock. Couple of Thunder players got there to chop the footy off, and they're going to run it out of defence here. It comes to McLaughlin. Then off through Wills, who kicks it to the outer side of the ground. Mark taken over in that outer side as the Thunder just look to slow things down a little.
Well, they had to. They had nobody forward, Eddie.
They've turned it over. So Tom Highmore goes inboard for Baker. Baker crosses to the broadcast side of the ground to Bruce. Bruce goes towards Evans, who's been pretty busy early for Canberra. He's under pressure from Rioli. Has to give the hand pass back to Smout. Smout just got the kick away in time. It dribbled towards Powell. Powell gets away from his opponents, goes inside 50, and Tom Fall marks on the chest.
I was watching Tom Fall through the binoculars on his lead there, and he called for that very, very early. Broke away from his man, got into space, and just positioned himself perfectly. We know that he loves the sausage roll, this man. He loves putting it between the big sticks, and got himself in the right position at the right time.
So the umpire puts Tom Fall on the right angle. He's kicking towards the new Cricket Media Centre at the Manuka end of the ground. Tom Fall off the left. He's hooked that. It's through for a behind. The Demons are 2-3-15. Thunder, one behind.
What we're seeing here, Eddie, you've mentioned it earlier, that every player, and still every player, well, bar two now, in the Canberra forward half of the ground as the ball comes back into play and is mark taken by Parnell. Now, he can run on, he can go for a kick, but the problem is, if it's a clean mark by Johnson, it isn't. He takes it on the half volley. There was no one for him to go to, and there's still no one up forward for the Thunder. They've got to keep some players back. I know it's difficult when you're getting a toweling on the scoreboard to keep players in position and keep players at the other end of the ground, but you've got to do that because otherwise, here you go, you've got Canberra in 6, 7, 8 Canberra players here able to move the ball around, and finally through Martin gets into some space. The ball goes over to the far side of the ground. It bounces first, which is unfortunate for the visiting side. But a little bit of a 1-2-1-2 there between Pollock and Richardson, and the Canberra side back on the attack again because now they've opened up space in the middle of the park. Plenty of players on, and I think that might be Martin again. That'll be his 4th possession on that run upfield. He puts the ball in towards Swan in the forward line. Pake's down there as well, and it's just the fact that they couldn't take the grab that the Thunder have come up with it, and the ball rebounds to the grandstand side of Monica now through Tip and Woody. He can take a couple of bounces if he wants. Instead goes short, and it's cut off. And the Demons will turn around and put it back into attack once again through one of their more electrifying players in Mitch Hardy.
Hardy, he received it from Maguire. Now Hardy chips it inboard to Aaron Bruce, who spots a man in Cal Evans on his own in the pocket, who takes the mark. Cal Evans looks to play on. He kicks inboard for Osborne, who marks overhead, and he'll have a shot. Not much of an angle to speak of. He'll kick from around 45 metres out.
Canberra playing the team game here, Eddie. They're not taking the hard shots from out in the pocket.
And both sides, which is good to see, pretty keen to play on, pretty keen to get the ball moving quickly. And we're seeing a fairly free-flowing and entertaining contest, but not the sort of scoreboard NT Thunder fans would have been hoping for. As Jared Osborne, a fairly quiet week last week after he was best on ground in the draw a couple of weeks ago. He started it out to the left. He brought it back perfectly. Jared Osborne becomes the Demons' 2nd goal kicker of the day. They've got 3. They're 3-3-21. NT Thunder 1 behind.
At one stage in that play as well, Eddie, there was only one player outside of not just the forward half for Canberra, but the forward third. Every player bar one from both sides was within 60 metres of the goal at the southern end of Manuka Oval. It's a byproduct, I think, of a very experienced and probably physically bigger side, the Canberra Demons, up against a younger, more inexperienced and in many cases smaller side. The temptation to just get the numbers at the ball and try and help out your teammate is something that this Thunder side are really going to have to try and overcome today. Try and get themselves some possessions and have some players in space to get to have a target to kick to. Otherwise, Canberra will just keep cutting it off as they've done several times already today.
I mentioned that Cal Evans had a busy start to the match. 6 disposals, 3 marks and 2 inside 50s already for Cal Evans as Maguire gets the centre clearance. He kicks Canberra out towards half forward, towards Pollock. It was through his fingers. Thunder players should get there in numbers. Wills got a hand pass out, but it's all Canberra again. Pollock going in really hard. The ball spilled out, and now it's kicked out of bounds on the full. It might have been Carr with another flying shot at goal. So the Thunder will get a free kick in the back pocket as they try to absorb a bit of this pressure and just try and slow down Canberra's momentum. 3 goals in the opening 15 minutes for the Demons. The Thunder yet to enter a major onto the scoreboard. Now,
the Thunder have only got 22 in their squad today of the 23 they're entitled to, and I can tell you some potentially bad news as well. Nigel Lockyer, who is playing in the key defensive role, and Alex Pake at the moment, he is limping at the moment, seems to be really struggling on his left leg, and he's just signalled to the bench that he might be cooked. So that'll be very bad news for the Thunder. He's down there in the goal scorer. He's still trying to, well, he's rubbing his leg at the moment, and he's trying to keep it moving. But that'll be big trouble for them. But it is the Canberra Demons, and once again, you mentioned Kel Evans got another little hand pass in there, but it was only back into the bottom of the pack. Ball at their centre half forward area, and it's moving more like a rugby union maul at the moment. The umpire won't like that very much. He'll come in and blow the whistle, and we'll get a ball up about 70 out from the Canberra goal. Well, I can see Lockyer is still out there. He's still limping, but he's still out there at full back for this underside. We might see how much movement he's got in a moment as Smout tries to get the ball out from the pack, and he's brought a free kick in there.
Bit of high contact.
Did get grabbed high, and he's just probably too far out to score, but he's got 1, 2, 3, you've got 5, 6 options down there. Goes into the pocket where Riley Corbett is waiting. Corbett about 45 out when he kicks on a 45-degree angle. It's probably closer to a 50-degree angle now that he's been moved around a little bit by the umpire. Will he take the shot? He's got Pake right in the goal square. He's got Pollock at the top of the square, so he's got a couple of options in there. There's a lot of space there for a lead to go into, and Swan may be the man who does that. But at the moment, it's Corbett. Comes in. Kicks from right on 50. He's dragged it to the near side. 3-4-22. The Canberra Demons, the Thunder, 1 point.
I guess they will want to make sure that they're making the most of this good start here, the Canberra Demons, converting their opportunities, because we know the Thunder will press hard as this game goes on. The kick is towards a contest. Highmore's in a good position. The ball just went through his fingers. It now comes out to Carr. He's immediately tackled by a couple of Thunder players and will get a ball up just outside 50 for Canberra. Evans lurking again at this contest as Maynard prepares to go up in ruck against Hanneth. It's knocked down to Maguire. He's dispossessed by Carroll. That's holding the ball. Great tackle there by Carroll, one of 3 players in this NT Thunder side today, recruited from Catherine. It's a 50-metre penalty against Mitch Maguire. So Brodie Carroll will be marched into the Thunder's forward half of the ground, and a chance now for the Northern Territory side to set up a bit of an entry inside their 50-metre arc, although he comes out wide towards the boundary line. The ball's marked by Jacob Templeton, a former basketballer, now playing in the NEAFL. He kicks long, inside 50, big fly, no mark. Demons players waiting at the back. It'll come out eventually to Harper. Harper gives the hand pass off for Pollock, who's pushed a long way down the ground. Pollock gives it to Maguire. Maguire spots up Swan, who takes the mark overhead between wing and half forward and waits for an option, waits for Canberra players to stream forward. He goes into the middle of the ground to Harper, who gives it off quickly to Pollock. Pollock goes short to Evans inside 50. It'll bounce through to him eventually. He just couldn't quite gather. Hardy laid a tackle. Didn't quite slip high, and we get a ball up inside 50 for Canberra. So the Thunder getting a rare forward entry there, but the Demons immediately able to run it straight up the other end of the ground, and we see another opportunity here for Canberra to try and score from this stoppage as Maynard and Hanneth go at it in ruck. Maynard knocks it down to Evans. Evans off the right, sprays it out of bounds on the full.
Probably could have, again, as we've seen a couple of Canberra players do, probably could have taken another couple of steps and steady, but didn't. And it's the Thunder who are the beneficiaries there. They find themselves only, still trailing by 21 points. But, if Canberra had settled down just a little in forward, this game could have been very much more one-sided. Canberra probably wasted 2 shots that have gone through for a point, and another one that's gone out on the full. But right now, it's the Thunder trying to do something with it. They've got it about 3/4 of the way around the ground. Underneath it there was Trent Melville, I think, was the last man to touch it, but before it goes over the boundary line. Throw in from the far reaches of Manuka Oval. Bigger playing surface than the Melbourne Cricket Ground here, Eddie. I suspect it's the biggest ground in the NEAFL. It's certainly a bigger sports ground I've called footy at, and it's a long way away, but the ball comes through. Rioli gets a little bit of a hand pass over, finds a teammate in the centre of the ground who goes for the very short hand pass. That was... I've lost it through the binoculars. There we go. So it goes into their forward 50 now, and again a mark taken by Canberra in defence. That's Highmore getting involved now. Switches play, looking for Tom Fall, who's come all the way up the ground. Fall can't quite get a clean possession, but he might have had his arms chopped. He has. Play on to the advantage, says the umpire, and that's with Baker now. Goes for a long run, puts a hand pass over to a man who's been in a lot of space today, Harper. Harper then finds Evans. Evans from on the 50, puts it in towards the goals, and right between the sticks. It's shepherded through by Alex Pake. That's not a bad goal. That'll be a contender for goal of the day here this afternoon. And it's Kel Evans getting his first, and Eddie, you called him early that he was having a good day. That's his 5th kick for the afternoon. 7 disposals all up, and he is having a day so far. Kel Evans with his first, Canberra's 4th, 4-4-28, the Thunder 1 point.
He's been very solid early, ticks up to 8 disposals now, 3 inside 50s, a goal, 3 marks and a clearance for Kel Evans, former Queanbeyan Tiger, originally from the South Coast, won the best and fairest in the local AFL Canberra competition last year. Probably hasn't quite played at his best so far this season, but we're starting to see him at his best in this opening quarter, and the Demons have been at their best. They're dominating all over the ground, 94 disposals to 66, 23 marks to 11, and they're leading the inside 50 count 17-6, and that's now starting to show on the scoreboard as the Demons hold a 27-point lead as we tick into time on. It's Alex Pake going up in ruck here for Canberra. He got a hand to it. It'll be the Thunder eventually who get the clearance as the umpire falls over. He's back on his feet pretty quickly, though. Coming in to lay a tackle there was Tom Highmore. Umpire calls play on. The player tries to do a handstand. Baker now lays a tackle. And we do eventually get a ball up between the centre of the ground and the half-forward line for the Thunder.
Thanks, Ed. The word about Nigel Lockyer, he's had his ankle restrapped and he's down on the bench at the moment for the Thunder. We'll see whether he can get back out there, but he's on the bench right now. Ball in the open spaces on the far side. Fortuitous bounce goes Hardy's way as he cops a bump from a player who winds up putting him directly under the ball. Finds the hand pass out to Owen Orban. Can't do a lot with it. Comes back around through hands to Hardy. Then onto a teammate who kicks it straight back into him, and it rebounds to the Thunder's advantage. But again, nobody anybody at home. But Cleans bowls several of them, appropriately enough for the Manuka Oval ground. Now, Paul, ball under fairly decent contest at the moment. Is that House in there? I think it might be. Pack over the top of it. It's just popped free, but the umpire had got the whistle to his lips already and blown for a ball up just on the edge of the centre square here. Canberra leading by 27 at the moment, 22 minutes gone, as the ball is tapped forward, ineffectively in the end by Tip and Woody, but it's again into a pack. And Canberra, well, they just keep getting the ball away through there. Owen Orban gets a shorthand pass. Now a kick goes downfield, but this time it's the NT Thunder who are in front.
Delahunty with that mark, I think.
There we go. Well, so one of their younger players, Delahunty, sends the ball back around the far side of the ground. And again, too many Canberra Demons jerseys. Smout gets a short pass. I see it turning around. Sending it forward there was Vardaniga. There's more yellow than blue unusually down there, but Swan cuts his way through it. Still gets the ball to the Demons, looking for the hand pass, but wrapped up in the tackle. And the umpire will ball it up one more time, as Tom Fall was unable to dispose of it. So the ball up just outside the forward 50 for Canberra. And it's, I think it was Paik who got the ruck tap down. It was indeed. And the shot on goal, well, the celebration comes from Mitch Maguire as he splits the big sticks, and Canberra have 5 on the board before quarter time. 5-4-34 to the Thunder. 1 point, 23 gone.
Canberra's best player last year, Mitch Maguire, had a slowish start to the season. Really good form last week. I thought he was best on ground in Canberra's win against Redland last week, and he's made a great start today. That's disposal number 5 or 6, all kicks for Mitch Maguire. He gets on the scoreboard with a goal, and if Maguire's playing well, if Smout's playing well, if Baker's playing well, this Canberra Demon side is very, very hard to stop, especially when you've got other players like Cal Evans, Alex Paik, and Harry Carr starting to bob up and have an impact as well. Coming
into this game, the Canberra Demons had a percentage of just 85.2. And 26 points on the competition table. Sydney Uni, who are the side they'll be competing with, you would imagine, for the 7th spot, have a percentage of 95.6. So Canberra really do need a couple of big wins to close that percentage gap today. And keep themselves, eliminate one of the negative factors leading into their finals campaign. And they go into the forward line once again. I think it was Powell who got the ball before he was pounced upon. Umpire will ball it up. 55 out from the Canberra goal. I've seen the ex-Freo docker Jack Hanneth come back on the latest round of changes for the Thunder, and there he is in the ruck, gets the ball, slams it onto his boot and sends his side somewhere into their forward half, and that would Melville underneath it. But again, too many Canberra players around there, and it's Vardaniga who sends the short ball on the outside for the Demons. As they work it further around, it was Owen Orban who had it, but again a turnover, and it's the Thunder who come away with it. Maybe Anchors who was with it over there. They're going to switch play around by going through the back line. This is dangerous if it's not precision. Lockyer has it. He's got that freshly strapped ankle. He's wound up all sorts of trouble. It's been picked up off the ground by Powell. Powell gets an underground hand pass away, finds Paik. Paik has a man on his outside. That's Pollock. Pollock can steady, shoot, and I think score a major. There you go. Take the extra 2 steps and get yourself steady, and it'll pay dividends. And Reece Pollock gets on the board now. The floodgates have well and truly opened here at Manuka, Eddie. He's made a good start as well, Reece Pollock. Always seems to get himself a goal. Marist College Junior. Busy today so far. That'll be disposal 6 or 7 for Reece Pollock. So sharing the ball around, sharing the goals around, and another turnover hurting the NT Thunder there. It's been the story of the day, hasn't it? And just a slight wind, I suspect, to that end of the ground, just helping a couple of those shots from Maguire and Pollock to go through. Bruce did win the toss and elect to kick to the right of your screen, so perhaps the Demons kicking with just a slight advantage, but I suspect it's not a 39-point advantage, which is what the scoreboard tells us. Nearly 26 and a half minutes gone in this opening quarter. Not a pretty scoreboard for the NT Thunder. They trail 6-4-40 to 1 behind. That centre bounce went outside of the circle, so we'll have a redo, and the umpire will throw it up with Maynard to go up against the former Fremantle player in Jack Hanneth. As the umpire throws the ball in the air, it's knocked down the Thunder's way. They've done okay in the clearances. They just haven't been able to make the most of their opportunities when they have gone forward. And there we see it again. Baker giving it to Richardson.
and the Demons will get out of trouble easily with a kick from Vardaniger, which spots Evans again. He hand passes over the top. Baker has kept on running. He has one bounce. He has a second. He can have a third. He could probably have a fourth if he wants. He does. 5 might be biting off a bit more than he can chew. So he kicks it towards full forward. Hardy and Fall will fly, but getting in front and taking the mark there might have been Kieran Parnell, who's had a pretty good day so far. His kick found Moroney, who goes short down the line to Trent Melville. This is a better build-up from the Thunder, but they've turned it over again. Evans gathers. He kicks off the right to full forward. It's over Andrew Swan's head, so a missed opportunity there for the Demons as Jack Hanneth takes the mark and the Thunder can get out of defence.
The look of abject horror on Swan's face there as he's realised that he'd parked himself just a little bit too short for that one as the turnover continues. Now that looks like Rioli on the far side of the ground. It is. He goes for a bounce. He goes for a second. Well, what's good for one is good for the other, and he goes for the short ball on his inside, getting it in towards Carroll. I think it may have been bent over the top of it, and Carroll, no, it's not Carroll, it's Butterick, actually, Jess Butterick, there we go, who's got it. Goes for the short ball on the outside on the free kick. And sending it in towards the goal is Melville. And now Rioli's run around and got himself into the pocket here at Manuka in front of that wonderful, well, I thought it was only a temporary 2-storey catering facility that was installed for the test match last year, but it's been left in place. It's a great place to watch sport from, and a great place to watch this goal from, or this goal attempt rather, from Rioli. What's Bensby got? Comes in on the right foot, tries to curl it around, and I reckon he's done it centimetre perfect, and he has, right between the uprights. And the Thunder get their first major for the afternoon. 1-1-7, the Canberra Demons 6-4, 40, 28.5 gone in the first quarter.
Well, a great finish from Ben Rioli, and to say it was a desperately needed goal is probably an understatement, but it does give the Thunder just that bit of momentum as we head towards quarter time, and just some positives to take as they go into their huddle in the next few minutes and try and come out in the second quarter using what is perhaps a slight breeze to the right of your screen to just try and eat into this margin. It's 33 points. That's something you can chip away at over the course of the next 3 quarters. And
well, we saw Essendon do it last night from just before half-time, didn't we? They were 30 points down against Adelaide and just chipped away and then ran away with it in the last few minutes.
And Canberra is a side that has faded out in the past, more last season, not so much this season, the Canberra Demons. But if the Thunder can just eat away at this margin bit by bit, they'll be able to stay in the game. Maynard knocked it down. It was sharked by Harper. Harper kicks the Demons inside 50. Tom Fall tried to reel it in with one hand. He couldn't hold on. The ball's on the ground. It's taken by Harry Carr, who gives it to Fall. This time Tom Fall misses to the right again. So another missed opportunity for Fall. The Demons are 6-5, 41. Their lead is 34 points.
He'll never die wondering, Tom Fall. If a shot's on offer, he'll take it. Wills has the ball after the short restart from the NT Thunder. Which way does he go? Up the middle of the ground, and he's got a big man there. That'll be Templeton. They've gone about 11 metres from the goal at the moment. Fraught with danger, this short stuff in your defensive 50 against Canberra when they've got so many big players on form at the moment. And there's one of them, Martin. Sends him on the outside. He'll get the ball back in a moment if he's lucky. He gets the ball back. He's tackled there by Templeton, brought to ground. Umpire says there was no prior opportunity. And so it'll be a ball up. Where are we? 30.5 gone. Can't be too much time left before the break. Canberra would love just one more, especially having given one up just a few minutes ago. But it's the Thunder who get the ball away now. Big pack. Ball comes off the pack, and it's picked up there. Well, not so much picked up as tapped forward by the Thunder. McLaughlin with the red hair sends it over the boundary line. It'll be a throw in just forward of halfway in front of a very hardy spectator on the frost-bitten grass on the eastern side of Manuka. The 31-minute mark ticks up on the clock.
So the ball will be thrown back in. Maynard and Hanneth to go at it in ruck. As the siren sounds on a fantastic opening quarter to the Canberra Demons. They were very vocal before the game. They were vocal in their warm-up. They're keen to get the job done today for their captain, Aaron Bruce, as he becomes the NEAFL Games record holder. And an excellent opening term for Canberra. At quarter time, they're 6-5, 41 with a 34-point lead over the NT Thunder, who are 1-1-7.
The Canberra Demons in need of a percentage booster to continue their charge towards the NEAFL finals. And they've got off to a pretty good start. First quarter, 6-5-41, a 34-point margin over the NT Thunder. And we can just check out the live ladder before Eddie goes to some more of our game stats. And the Demons have already boosted their percentage by just a few fractions of a point at the moment, but they're up to 85.3. But yeah, that 10-point gap between them and Sydney Uni could become absolutely pivotal in the lead into the finals. But at the moment, it's 41-7 to the home side. Eddie Williams.
And a dominant opening quarter by the Canberra Demons, led by Cal Evans with 10 disposals, 4 marks, 4 inside 50s and a goal. Angus Baker had 8 touches. Kieran Parnell, the leading possession winner for the NT Thunder, with 10 as well, getting plenty of the footy in defence. As we're back underway, Hanneth wins the opening hit out. The Thunder, as I say, have done pretty well in the clearances, and they'll get another one here as it's hooked towards half forward. Marking on the chest there is Chris Williams, who wheels onto the right boot, kicks it towards the goal square. Vardaniga crumbs the footy. He's tackled immediately. We'll get a ball up in a dangerous spot here for the Thunder. So a better start for them. 22 seconds gone. And the ball at their full forward line.
Clearances 11 to the Demons and 10 to the Thunder. So you're right, Eddie. They're right in the middle of the ground. It's just when it gets to the extremities that they have trouble. Ball comes free via Evans. Evans puts a short hand pass there into the path of Harper. Harper looks to go back to Evans. He can't do much with it. There's plenty of visitors' jerseys there. Maguire gets involved. Sends it around. I think it might have been Martin who got the hurried kick away. It's bouncing around volleyball style at the moment. It's the Canberra Demons who are now working away with it, and they bring it around the grandstand side of Manuka Oval as it's two of their bigger names. It's Maguire, and he gets straight on to Paik, and Paik looks into the middle for a moment but then decides nope, there's plenty of vacant space up forward, and puts it well, I thought originally it was going to be for Hardy, but instead it's the short ball and it winds up with Pollock.
So Reece Pollock wheels onto the right boot, kicks it inside 50, and Tom Fall slides in and takes the mark.
Gee, he's exciting to watch, isn't he?
2 shots on goal so far from Tom Fall, 2 behinds. He missed both to the right in the opening quarter. This time he'll have a set shot kicking to the swimming pool end of the ground.
And what breeze there is, and there's not a lot of it. It's averaging less than 10 kilometres now, so there really isn't much of it. What breeze there is will probably be blowing from his right, from his left to his right, so he'll want to aim just ever so slightly left. But really, these conditions, just aim it between the big ones.
He doesn't take too long in his setup or his approach, Tom Fall. Couple of steps in, left foot, drop punt, squeezes it through.
Aimed at left.
Tom Fall joins the list of Canberra goal kickers, and the Demons are now out by an even 40 points.
And they just need to keep on going with it through the course of this Saturday afternoon here in the nation's capital. Ball comes back into the middle slowly. Plenty of discussion going on here amongst the Thunder players. It was fairly animated amongst the group heading into their forward 50 at the moment under the 6-6-6 setup. There was a few hands going up in the air as the discussion was moving further down the ground. They've set their plan. Of course, it's all well and good to have the plan, but you've got to have the ball as well.
6 individual goal kickers for Canberra's 7 goals. Harry Carr, the only multiple goal scorer, with 2. We now have singles to Maguire, Fall, Evans, Osborne and Pollock, and Ben Rioli, the only goal scorer for the NT Thunder. As we're back in the middle, the umpire with a nice straight bounce there for Hanneth and Maynard. Maynard won it down to Harper. Harper hand passes it back to Maynard, who kicks inside 50. No one could take the... Well, the umpire has paid. He's paid the mark there to Harry Carr. I thought it might have been off hands. But Harry Carr has the ball at half forward. He's not going to... We don't think he's going to fire at goal, although perhaps now he's changed his mind.
Well, he's got a big kick.
And he's decided to come off the long run. 2 goals already for Harry Carr. Kicks from outside 50. It's just going to fade away to the left. It doesn't have the distance. And the ball in the end goes over the boundary line, which is not a bad result for Canberra. We get a throw in just next to the left behind post.
Yeah, not far from the behind post at all. And Harry Carr, well, he knows exactly his range now. It's 54.4 metres and he was 54.5 out when he took the shot.
It was that 10-kilometre-an-hour breeze that held it back.
Ball back in play. Waiting underneath it, it's Paik who gets the tap down into the path of Hardy. He tries to tap it back into play, does so, and then was that Baker in there as well? It may have been. Plenty of players around the ball at the moment. Evans is another one of them. Pack over the top.
Holding the ball.
Has called a holding the ball decision and is going against Canberra, and it may have been, was it Carr who had it? Yep. Anyway, it doesn't matter who had it because now it's Brodie Carroll who's picked it up off the short pass. flirting with danger down the boundary line. No, instead he'll go further up the wing. Rioli was in short. Instead he's got Williams, Damien Williams there. But again, Williams finds himself in the middle of the pack. It comes off hands. Kick from Chris Williams. His kick is, however, not marked by Bruce. In the end, Bruce unable to control it. And it trickles away from him over the boundary line for another throw-in. I noted with the interest too that Alex Smout started this quarter on the bench as well. He's back out there now, but again, spent the first 2 minutes of this quarter on the bench. That may be just to try and evade any possible tagger in the initial setup.
Absolutely, a tactic there to avoid the Thunder from tagging him from the word go as the ball comes back into play. A little bit of a shallow boundary throw-in. Anchors has it. He's tackled by two Demons. Manages to get the hand pass to Carroll, who's immediately mown down by Reece Pollock. And we'll get a ball up just in front of the Canberra Demons. Interchange benches. We see plenty of push and shove here. A free kick for a hold. It'll go Canberra's way. That doesn't clear the scuffle. Maguire's involved. The umpire's paid a 50-metre penalty here.
Osborne's oblivious to it.
Canberra will be marched inside 50. I reckon we might hear a player on report here as well, as Maguire and McLaughlin still going at it a little, as eventually the players move away and they move deep inside Canberra's forward line.
I'm just having a look at the umpires to see if any of them pull a notebook out. Haven't seen any, so instead it'll be the Demons to go into attack, and Osborne, who had played onto the side, now gets another shot at it, and he'll be able to put the ball deep into the forward 50. This will be too far out for him to score. It may not be too far out for this man, though, Highmore, who's, I can't remember the last time we saw him up forward. He's just outside 50. He decides not to take the shot. Instead, he goes in short and finds Baker, who is now well and truly in the pocket at Manuka.
And not a noted goal kicker necessarily, Angus Baker, but he does everything else. He'll be pretty keen to get on the scoreboard, and I guess just a bit of frustration perhaps boiling over there for the NT Thunder, who find themselves facing a 40-point deficit 6 minutes into the second quarter. Angus Baker to try and extend the Demons' lead to 46 points. He opens up the angle slightly, goes off the right. He'll barely score. He just squeezes it through for a behind. So Canberra now 7-6-48. The Thunder 1-1-7.
It's all going Canberra's way. What's the total possession count at the moment? It's 147 disposals to 96. And that's a pretty fair reflection on how this game has gone. The Thunder, they've just got to find a way to get players in front and in space. Instead, well, they've kicked it into space, but again, it's all Canberra. Paik winds up with it. He's driven into the turf, and the umpire, well, he lets the play go, and the ball comes free and then spills over the boundary line. So it'll be a throw-in just in front of the old Jack Findlen scoreboard here at Manuka. Still well and truly in the attacking half of the ground for the Canberra Demons. Ethan Little and David Johnston gearing up to come back on for the Thunder as the ball comes back into play. And once again, it's Hanneth who wins the tap down. But again, too many blue jerseys around. And one of those is on the back of Connor Owen Orban. Sends the ball looking towards Harper, but it goes past him. And now it's the Thunder trying to get away. McLaughlin may have been in there, couldn't do anything with it. And once again, we see the ball going into the forward line. Smout looking for Paik. Paik gets a punch. Who's he got it to?
I think it was Swan who misses to the right.
Was indeed going through at speed, but he can't quite convert. The Demons move on to 7-7-49. The Thunder 1-1-7. And the entire playing staff of both sides inside the forward half for the Canberra Demons. Tippin Woody on his own. Ball goes over his head. Owen Orban picks it up. Goes right, goes left, goes hand pass. Taps it around, gets it towards Paik, who's having a busy day. He puts a hand pass then into the path of it. Might have been Richardson. It was actually Martin who had it. He couldn't control it. Too hot at the moment. Paik comes back in front of the go. Hand pass then finds Bruce. Bruce, the game's record holder now, sends it into the forward line. Fall just wrestles his way into the front, plants the studs and says, my ball, takes it. And this time he'll have a shot from directly in front.
Disposal number 7 there for the captain, Aaron Bruce. In the game where he breaks the NEAFL record for the most games. And I think he's enjoying just sitting back behind the play, racking up the disposals and helping to set up a shot on goal for Tom Fall.
Fall, not off the long run, with the left foot, aims it to the left, gets it through, and he gets his second major of the afternoon. Indeed, his second and his team's second for the quarter. And Canberra move on to 8:7:55. The Thunder 1-1-7, 8.5 gone in the second term.
He doesn't muck around, does he, with his goal-kicking routine, Tom Fall, and it probably doesn't matter from that distance. You do wonder if he perhaps needs to just take a little bit more time when he's having a shot from a tighter angle or from slightly further out, because he has missed a couple of relatively straightforward ones so far today. But 2 goals, 2 now for Tom Fall. He and Harry Carr causing the Thunder all sorts of trouble in the Demons forward line.
Yeah, I worry for the Thunder in this game. I just think that Canberra, and we said it last week when they started to get away just a little bit, that they really hadn't as yet put any side to the sword. And Redland came back late in that one and didn't allow Canberra to get away. I just wonder how much discussion there's been at Canberra training this week from Coach Kate Klemke saying, right, this week, if we get in front, we've just got to keep on going, because that's what they're doing at the moment. And Connor Owen Auburn has the ball, one of the multiple Rising Star nominees for the season in this Canberra side. And he sends them back into attack. Goes for the long ball. Waiting at the bottom of the pack was Hardy. I think there's been a free to the Thunder. There has indeed. So they'll rebound over the far side of the ground. Chasing in over the top in there, not in Melville. But again, they just can't get it across halfway at the moment. Forget about it getting into the forward 50. They've got to get into their forward half, the Thunder. Turning around there with Martin. Martin goes around to the outside of the ground, waiting for it Harper. Harper comes back in. I would auction it off a little bit at the moment. Maguire will get yet another possession, as will Smout. He could come across to Bruce. He'll go longer in towards centre half forward. Thought the target may have originally been Carr, but it wasn't. Instead, it was Powell who had it, and his kick's been cut off in the hot spot, and it comes back to Powell. Bounces off his chest, and now the Thunder are a chance to get away. Who have they got? They've got a couple of players in short on the outside. Waiting for it is David Johnston. He gets there. Now he puts it into the paddock. Rioli waits. It's big on little. Rioli at the moment manages to hang on to it, but there's too many Canberra jerseys at the fall of the ball. Bouncing around, and it's taken away once again by Maguire. They can afford to go short here because they've got massive numbers. Ball is in the bottom of the pack, and the umpire will come in and bounce it and ball it up again. About 30 around from the NT Thunder goal. And we should now see, and we do now see, a flood of yellow jerseys coming from the other end of Manuka. It's almost as though someone's opened a new takeaway shop and they've decided we've got to be first in the queue.
So Alex Pack going up in ruck here for Canberra. He knocked it down to Smout. Smout got some sort of a kick away, but it's been chopped off. Looks like it's Parnell getting another disposal here, pushing up the ground for the Thunder. Gives the hand pass off. So now the kick will come to full forward for the Northern Territory. Baker was sitting back. No one could mark. It's just bobbling around, a fresh air shot that was into a man.
It's very congested stuff down there at the moment, Ed.
And Maguire finally is the man with the clearing kick to just get the ball out of danger for the time being from a Canberra perspective. Corbett lays a tackle. The ball spills out towards Powell, who went in hard, fed the hand pass back. It'll come back towards Maguire. He can't keep it in play. We'll get another boundary throw in inside 50 for the Thunder. So from a Northern Territory perspective, what they've been able to do over the past few moments at least is lock the ball in play. In fact, it was a free kick here to Canberra, so it comes back to Maguire. The Thunder had locked the ball inside 50 for a few moments. But the ball now back in Canberra's hands as Bruce chips it to Baker, who marks all on his own in the back pocket. He goes into the corridor to Richardson. They're still inside defensive 50 here, Canberra, just going with a slower approach out of defence. The Thunder have done well to cut off most options. He might look for Helps on our broadcast side of the ground. That's where he goes, or further than that towards Paik and Carr. It's knocked down. It ends up with Carroll, who gives the hand pass off to Butterick. That was Joel Butterick. It comes back to Joel Butterick. He goes with the right foot kick down the line. Highmore was in good position. It cleared him, and coming in to take the mark is Angus Baker.
He's having a good game today too, is Baker. Turns around. He's got a couple of players he can give it to. They wind up combining. That was Owen Auburn, and then on to Harper. Ball now sent further forward. Highmore sending it into the forward line. They've spoiled each other here, the Canberra side. Hardy has it, gets himself into trouble, out of trouble. Hand passes back over his head. Who's coming through? That might be, it is Tom Fall. He comes through. He's had a couple of set shots. Now he goes with the snap. The man who loves the spectacular. And there he is. Tom Fall gets his third for the term.
He was on hands and knees. He climbed to his feet. He was falling over. He kicked the goal. He didn't need a long setup there, Tom Fall. He's kicked 3. and Canberra lead this match by 54 points.
Suddenly he's the leading goal scorer for the day. He has 3. Harry Carr has 2. There's a plethora of players with singles for the Canberra Demons, and I suspect, Eddie, by the end of the afternoon we might have 12 or 13 Canberra Demons players on the scoreboard. There's going to be a bit of rotation going on here as players move into the back line for what will be a bit of a rest here. And they now lead by 54 points, and we are not even at the midpoint, I would suspect, once we factor in time on of this second term.
Yeah, 3 goals to none for Canberra so far in this quarter, and this is not a position they've found themselves in often at all in their entire history, the Canberra Demons, holding such a big lead early in a game. So it'll be interesting to see how Cade Klemke's side approaches the rest of this match. Smout's clearing kick couldn't find a target. It was chopped off by Parnell, who's been probably the shining light for the Thunder so far this afternoon. His kick was to the wing, but they've turned it over yet again. Pollock dishes it back to Baker. Baker goes into the centre square to Powell. They're queuing up here, the Demons. Powell gives it to Harper. Harper kicks it there for Highmore. Or in fact, it was Baker who did well. Gives it back to Harper. Harper feeds it back to Powell. Powell goes for Evans. Evans was under pressure. His hand pass was intended for Baker. Baker knocks it forward towards Owen Orban, who gathers, shrugs the tackle. And it all ends up in a goal for Canberra.
It's Kel Evans who's come through there. I reckon he's got his second for the afternoon. It'd be somewhat ironic if it was Kel Evans, because he's a man who has had more looks this season. He changes his appearance every couple of weeks, and he's very hard to pick, but I reckon it was him that time, going by the celebrations, Ed.
Well, they are dominating this match, Kel Evans and Angus Baker. Evans there with his second goal, 14 disposals, 4 marks, 4 inside 50s. Angus Baker has 13 touches, 7 marks and 5 inside 50s. And the two men with blondish hair and white boots really dominating this match for the Canberra Demons.
Geez, look at those numbers already. Disposals, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Canberra Demons players with double-digit disposals already. For the NT Thunder, it is only Kieran Parnell. He has had 8 kicks and 3 hand passes, and I think he's still only 17. Really playing with experience beyond his years. He's had two fairly serious knee injuries in his career as well, so certainly wants to play footy. And a player that may well get plenty of chances to do that down the track. The Thunder take the ball away now. Courtesy of a couple of free kicks. They go in short. This is better stuff from them. But again, they get into the forward 50 and they get into all sorts of trouble. And it's a rebound once again for the Demons, coming via Smout. Smout's kick, however, is cut off by his opposite number in Damien Williams. He goes for a little bit of a run, gets a hand pass away to a teammate, and it comes back to him. Will it happen again? No, it won't, because Williams has been put down behind the play. So going forward with it was Jess Butterick. Butterick puts the ball into the forward line, and the mark has been taken by David Johnston. And Johnston, yes, he did get the mark just in the goal square, so he'll have the shot from directly in front. I know there's some people who expressed some consternation about that rule when it was brought in, but I like it. You get the reward for taking the mark in the goal square. Johnston, well, he puts a little bit of a wobble on it, but he gets it through for his first major of the afternoon, and the NT Thunder get their first of the quarter. They're 2-1-13. The Canberra Demons 10-7-67.
A much better build-up there by the NT Thunder, and they need to get that balance right of precision kicking, controlling the ball, taking marks, as well as using their run. They've got a lot of pace. They're probably a quicker side than the Canberra Demons. So if they can hold on to the footy and hurt the Demons with a bit of pace, get the ball in quickly and get marks to players like Johnston, they'll be able to stop the bleeding to some extent in this match, which I guess in the initial phase is what the NT Thunder need to do.
They had the turnover, but they actually fought back and got the ball back, which we haven't seen a lot of from them today. Usually the turnovers, well, as the scoreline indicates, the turnovers have been pretty nasty for them once they've happened. So, ball back in the middle, bounce down. Maynard gets the best of it, and it goes straight onto the chest of Harper. Harper able to go, well, actually he gives it across there. It was Maguire, I think he gave it to. Ball into the forward line. But it's the Thunder bringing it away again. Gee, they're going round and round in circles at the moment, expending a lot of energy to go not very far. Finally, the kick comes into their forward line, and, well, there's no real surprise that it's been taken once again by Canberra. I reckon it'll be Highmore who had it, gave it across to Baker, and they've got numbers on again. It goes back, and it finds Maguire. Maguire able to go back. He puts it to Vardaniga. Vardaniga has waiting on this side Richardson, elects not to use him. And this is why, because they've got more numbers up the middle of the park. It goes with Harper. Harper, short ball. Canberra able to play this short game all day because they can just get in front. Maguire with another possession. Just racking up the numbers. Who's he go to? Goes to House. House has a oh dear, that's poor. Bruce at centre half forward, and he doesn't have to turn around and take a shot because he can give it across to Maguire, and that's very, very dangerous stuff. And Maguire, well, he just runs in and kicks the easiest goal that we've seen for him in quite some time. His second for the afternoon, 11-7, 73 the Demons. A 10-goal break over the Thunder, 2-1-13.
I suspect they would have practiced that exact passage of play at training. And it looked like a bit of a trading drill. It looked like a routine set up there from the Canberra Demons. Maguire, couple of short kicks, kept on running, received the footy and slammed through the goal. He's well and truly back in form, Mitch Maguire, and the margin is a straight 10 kicks.
It's not looking good for the visiting side at the moment. Keeping an eye on this Canberra Demons percentage. What's it done? There we go. It's climbed up to 87.5, Eddie. So it's up by about 3 or 4 points since the start of this game.
And they find themselves in the top 6, albeit that Sydney University has a bye this weekend. So that will change as the season continues, and it'll be a big game in a couple of weeks' time when Sydney Uni and the Canberra Demons go at it again. As the umpire pays a free Canberra's way in the middle of the ground, it'll go to Mitch Maguire. Getting plenty of the footy in this second quarter. Maguire's kick is for Martin. Martin has to go out and fetch it. He gathers. He's got Baker in support. He hand passes it off to Baker, who goes for a bit of a run. He sees Owen Orban over his shoulder. He hand passes it to him. Owen Orban's kick is not great. It's been chopped off there. Might be Moroney in the back pocket, who goes dangerously into the corridor. Powell got fingers to it, but Hanneth was there in support. Came back to Wills. Thunder under all sorts of pressure. Hanneth's hand pass is for Wills again, and now Wills kicks it out of bounds on the full.
Well, that's pressure.
They're really struggling to work the ball out of defence here, the NT Thunder. As we look at rebound 50s, they've had more, 21-13, but that's because the Demons have dominated the inside 50s so much, 32-15. But now we see the ball coming back.
Okay, must have been
the Thunder.
I'm not sure what the call was for there. It's Wills. I think it's hard to pick him up in the glare at the moment, but he goes for the short ball.
There's a push in the back, Chris.
It's a push in the back. Okay, there we go. Thank you. And the Thunder are away at the moment. Waiting for it was Carroll. Takes the mark, gets himself set. It's not exciting to watch, but it's effective if he can do it. Now they're rolling the dice and go for the hand pass. And I did say rolling the dice. That's trouble. Big trouble. Holding the ball. And that would be Ruska, who the ball was incorrectly disposed of by. And, well, Carr goes for the short ball. And there's every player on the park going in. And we've got a high contact in there, have we? We do. We've got a high contact. And so it'll be another shot on goal coming up for Canberra, Ed. And
Reece Pollock looking to get his second of the afternoon. He adds just something a bit different to this forward line. We've talked about those taller players like Corbett and Paik, and those medium-sized players like Fall and also Hardy. And then you've got the likes of Pollock and Powell, the two smalls, who add a bit of energy to that forward line.
What's he got from directly in front? I think he may have actually been touched by the man on the mark there, so the ball still in play just inside the Canberra attacking area, and it's with Swan. Well, he kicked a good one at Phillip a couple of weeks ago. That would rival it, I suspect, as he's popped it through. That's a nice goal from a very, very difficult angle on the fly. It was Swan, wasn't it?
It was Swan. Swan on the fly. And the crowd went wild there behind the goals. I'm not sure Reece Pollock intended the footy to end up with Andrew Swan, but it did, and he's a good man under pressure. Put it through, and he's been finding the goals with ease for a man who hadn't played footy in more than a year because of an ACL injury. Andrew Swan has come back into this Canberra side over the past 3 weeks and kicked 2 goals in his game on return, kicked 2 goals last week, and he's got 1 goal in the opening half here in round 16. 23
gone in the second term. It's the Demons 79, the Thunder 13. And Canberra, they're doing what they have to do here this afternoon. And I've got to say, Eddie, it's becoming increasingly difficult to find a way to think of a way for the Thunder to stop this absolute onslaught. Pake, he'll be happy with that one. He wins the tap down against the former Docker. Now the ball that goes down towards Harper once again. Harper finds a man in Osborne on his outside, and once again it's Canberra on the attack. The Hardy is the target. He gets it in unorthodox fashion. Short hand pass now, goes to Swan. He kicked a good one a few moments ago. He decides to have another crack. Can he go back to back? Oh, I think he can. The crowd behind the goals like it. The umpire comes up and says, yes, indeed. And Andrew Swan, he goes from 0 to 2 goals in about 60 seconds.
Well, it must be the Andrew Swan fan club behind the goals there at the Monica swimming pool, and they're enjoying his work. One of the co-vice captains with the Canberra Demons, and a really important addition, as we've mentioned over the past 3 weeks, the sort of experienced head they need as they try and make their way back into the NEAFL top 6 and try and put themselves in contention in the finals. They'll be pretty pleased to see Andrew Swan playing footy in the first place and playing well.
85 to 13 the scoreboard reads, 24 gone here. Canberra, if they can kick one more quickly here, they'll be thinking about 3 figures before the break, Ed.
This is 7 goals to 1 in this quarter for Canberra after they kicked 6 to 1 in the opening term. So Canberra's dominance not showing any signs of slowing down as this game continues. We're back in the middle. Pake and Hanneth in ruck. Hanneth knocked that one down. It'll come out to Harper, who's been dominating the clearances in this second term. He can't get one here. He's tackled immediately. We'll get another ball up. 14 disposals for Jordan Harper and 4 clearances. He's the leading clearance winner for Canberra. Ankers has 4 clearances for the NT Thunder. As they get one here, the Thunder, and try and get another late goal. The kick inside 50 will result in a shot on goal. And it looks like that might be Nigel Lockyer Jr. who go back and have a shot in the pocket.
We saw Lockyer at fullback in the first quarter, so they switched him to the other end of the ground. He had an ankle injury. He's had it strapped. What's he got?
Nigel Lockyer Jr. from a tight angle off the left foot. He's put it out to the left, so just a minor score. They've only had 4 shots on goal, the Thunder. They've only been able to convert 2 of them. They're 2-2-14. The Canberra Demons 13-7, 85. Tom Highmore looks pretty keen to get the ball back in quickly. He had a lead from Pake in one pocket, ignores that. It decides to dart out into the other pocket and just kick it long out towards the wing. Hardy is there. He did well to bring the ball to ground there, Mitch Hardy, under pressure from a couple of NT Thunder opponents. The umpire waits. He still waits. He lets the ball come out, and it comes out the Thunder's way. The kick is towards half forward for Hanneth, who marks on the chest. Probably still too far out to score for the former Fremantle Dockers ruckman. He's called to play on. So Hanneth throws it on the right boot, kicks it into the pocket. It's knocked down, and the umpire will come in and ball it up.
Canberra on target for their largest ever winning margin. That record goes back to last year. Scottsdale Park against Redland, an 83-point win. Prior to that, they beat the Thunder here, or well, subsequent to that, as the ball back in play. Shot on goal. Didn't see who it was who was down there. I think it may have been Damien Williams who had the shot, but he's got the goal. The Thunder playing for pride here as they try and keep that record margin in sight.
Well, they must have heard you, Chris. They heard that stat. They said that's not a stat we want, and they've hit the scoreboard late in the second quarter. That's 3 goals now for the NT Thunder. They're 3-2-20. The Demons 13-7, 85. And a couple of goals in this quarter for the Thunder. At times they've looked okay. They just haven't been able to stop the bleeding when Canberra has gotten the ball inside their forward line. And it was Chris Williams getting on the scoreboard there, recruited from the Darwin Buffaloes, which I think rivals the Glebe Greyhounds as one of the best nicknamed clubs in Australia.
But it's no Kukadinia Mangapla East Lakes United.
What is Ganmain Grong Grong Matong's nickname, Chris?
The Lions.
Oh, it's a bit boring.
So it's a lot shorter.
I'll call them Ganmain Grong Grong Matong. That's where Riley Corbett is from, who's trying to kick a couple of goals for the Demons this week after kicking 2 in each of his past 2 games. The Demons have worked it forward. The kick from Harry Carr will spot up, might be Angus Baker there just outside 50. He's pushing forward a lot more today, Angus Baker. He goes across the ground. The ball will end up with Tom Highmore, who just, in fact, knocked it on to Alex Smout. Smout's kick ends up with Highmore. Highmore gives the hand pass to Evans. Evans has to hand pass it off for Maguire, who's under a lot of pressure. The umpire pays a free kick for a hold, and Mitch Maguire will get another shot on goal.
Yeah, the pressure was there, but the pressure was there before the ball had arrived. And, well, there's a man who's dangerous in broken play, and that is Mitch Maguire. You don't want to give him a set shot from about 30 out directly in front.
And he's looking for goal number 3, Mitch Maguire, which would be a rarity, I dare say, throughout his NEAFL career. He's just passed the 50-game mark last week. Mitch Maguire from directly in front. He'll kick from not much more than 35 metres out, and his right foot drop punt is a goal. So Maguire has 3, the Demons have 14, and the scoreboard looking pretty ugly towards halftime.
Maguire with 3 joins Tom Fall with 3, and 28 and a half gone. That's the 8th goal of the term for the Canberra Demons. The Thunder have kicked a couple, so it's been a 10-goal quarter. So I suspect we've still got a couple of minutes left here. As the Demons 14-7-91, the Thunder 3-2-20.
And I think Cade Klemke will be happy to see some of his midfielders getting on the scoreboard, because he can't always rely on the likes of Paik and Corbett and Carr and Fall to be kicking the goals. 3 goals today for Maguire, a couple for Cal Evans, 1 for Jared Osborne as well. So they're finding different avenues to goals so far this afternoon at the Canberra side. We're back in the middle, Hanneth and Maynard to go at it in ruck. A high centre bounce, knocked down by Maynard, but Harper is trying to get another clearance. He picks it up eventually. Shrugs the pressure, kicks it in or towards half forward. It's a good mark taken there by Harry Carr. Probably too far out to score. He rolls onto the right foot, kicks it towards full forward, towards Andrew Swan, who was caught behind. The ball came through. He gave the hand pass off. And it's a behind there. It might have been Connor Owen-Orban.
It was.
Floating forward. So a minor score. The Demons tick up to 14 goals, 8.
Yeah, we're starting to see a couple of Canberra Demons players that we don't often see in the forward line moving up there, having a bit of a go. So chance for them to do something different here. 72 points the margin at the moment, and flying at centre half forward, or on the half forward flank rather, is Baker. Turns around. He's got plenty of people to use. Finds Smout. Smout then looking for anyone inside the forward 50. The one bloke he didn't want to kick it to was Delahunty for the Thunder, and he's the man who's got it. They rebound out of defence, the Thunder. Coming around the grandstand side, waiting for it is Lockyer, but he can't take it as House gets in front of him. And House now able to reset as once again the blue jerseys stream forward, calling for it, shouting for it, demanding the ball is Lucas Moline, who I don't think I've called once so far today, so he gets to then return the favour and gives the ball back to his teammate in House. 30 and a half gone. House sends the ball towards Highmore. Highmore in front of McLaughlin. Might get in trouble here. No Highmore, he can turn around. And, oh, look at this. House, you'd love to have him on your fantasy team at the moment. For those last 2 minutes, he's had 3 kicks. It across to Moline. Moline into the path of Bruce. And Bruce, he's got a paddock to run in. He goes for a short jog, goes for a bounce, puts the ball into the middle of the ground. Waiting for it is Maguire. Danger, danger, as he sees Tom Fall all on his own. 45 out directly in front and puts it square on his chest.
Well, they just left a massive piece of space straight up the middle for Mitch Maguire to run into, for Tom Fall to lead into. And Tom Fall will now get a set shot at goal from almost directly in front.
We've mentioned it, Eddie. It's the inexperience of this Thunder side. The longer Canberra hold onto the ball, the more the Thunder players are running into the gaps that the ball is in, and Canberra just hang back. And suddenly you've got players. Bruce, Maguire, Fall in space. Fall will kick from just inside 50. It's the high ball that's drifting to the right, and it's through for a point.
3 goals, 3 today for Tom Fall.
Oh, he's going 50-50, isn't he? Takes the Canberra Demons on to 14-9-93. The Thunder 3-2-30. For pride, if nothing else, an important passage of play coming up here. And that's the worst possible outcome from the kick in, as it is kicked straight back in to the Canberra Demons. And they won't have 100 on the board at half time, but they won't be far off it. As Jack Powell, who is goalless so far today, his only option here will be to take a shot. He'll do that from 35 out. Slightest of angles, almost no breeze. And he takes the shot. It looks pretty good. It's there, 15-9-99 for the Canberra Demons at half-time over the NT Thunder 3-2-20. Well, I hate to use the word bloodbath, but Eddie, that's what this is turning into.
Well, the Demons have already surpassed their entire score from last week when they beat Redland. They scored 14-6-90 Already in this first half, the Demons have kicked 15-9-99. The NT Thunder just 3-2-20. And you look at the body language from the two teams as the Demons jog off pretty happy with themselves, and the NT Thunder slowly walking over to each other, and I suspect having a few words as a team before they come off the ground. An absolute domination in that first half by the Canberra Demons. Mitch Maguire, he's a player you'd want to have in your fantasy team, Chris. If you had him, if you were playing NEAFL Fantasy, he would have gotten you 86 Dream Team points in that first half for his 18 disposals, which included 16 kicks, 3 marks, 2 tackles, 3 goals. Mitch Maguire playing a blinder so far this afternoon.
I don't play a lot of fantasy footy, Eddie. Is 86 a good tally for a game?
86 would be a very serviceable tally for a game. Yes.
So to do that in a half is pretty decent then, yeah?
Yeah.
All right. At the start of this game, the percentage for the Canberra Demons was 82.4. On the live NEAFL ladder at the moment, they've already lifted that to 89.1. They will have that remaining 6 and a bit percentage points between them and Sydney Uni in their sights to overcome that and wipe that out this afternoon. That you can't tell me they won't be keeping an eye on that as a number. Cade Klemke will know what he needs to do, and if they can wipe that differential out, bearing in mind the Canberra and Sydney Uni, they've still got one more game to play against each other in a few weeks' time up in Sydney, but they'll be looking to just remove that from the equation as this afternoon progresses.
It will be interesting to see how the Demons approach the second half. Do they keep the foot on the pedal? Do they leave everything as it was? Or is it an opportunity to experiment a little bit with some players in different positions? We'll see what Cade Klemke has planned when we return here on NEAFL TV after the halftime break. At halftime, it's the Canberra Demons 15-9-99, leading the NT Thunder 3-2-20.
Well, the second half about to get underway here at UNSW Canberra Oval at Manuka in Canberra, and it has been all the home team this afternoon. They are looking for a boost to their percentage, and they've got one so far. They lead by 79 points, 15-9-99 over the NT Thunder, 3-2-20. Chris Coleman's my name, and Eddie Williams to take a play away for the start of the second half.
With the Canberra Demons kicking to the right of your screen in this quarter, Maynard palmed it down to Harper, but the Thunder will look to get the clearance. It bounced off Maynard's boot. Harper went in hard again. The ball's not going to come free, so we'll get a ball up, still in the centre square, with Canberra holding on to a 79-point lead. And we could see some records broken in this second half from a Canberra Demons perspective. The Thunder have made a fairly bright start, though. They'll get the opening inside 50 of the quarter, but dropping back into the hole is Tom Highmore, as he so often does, marking overhead. He goes up the corridor, spots up Angus Baker, who takes the mark, waits for players to stream forward, dishes the hand pass back to Osborne. He kicks short to Evans. Evans wants to get things moving quickly because he spots a man on his own on the wing there in Martin. Martin gives it to Harper, who gives it off to Baker. Baker gives it to Carr. Carr waits for Baker to run forward. Baker from the pocket, a low ball. Corbett gets a hand on it. Sorry, it was Swan, in fact. Swan trying to knock it out. He does. The ball's locked up. We'll get a ball up at the top of the goal square for Canberra.
Well, Canberra have just done this well all day. They've not been afraid to hang on to the ball and just wait for players to run into position. They've got the superior leg speed over most of the ground. The punch through from the ruck contest, a couple of players calling for a deliberate, actually has gone out of bounds, so it hasn't gone through. So the Thunder trying to defuse the situation. Unsuccessful in that. The ball stays deep in the Canberra Demons attacking territory. The throw in a metre around from the posts as it's sent back in. Pate comes in, but it's Hanneth who gets the best of it. Pops it over the top. It was into the path of Little. They can't get it outside of their defensive 50 at the moment, and we've got an incorrect disposal now from a Canberra Demons player, and it will be the Thunder taking the ball around the grandstand side. They look for Damien Williams and find him. He thinks about playing on. He's called to play on now by the umpire. Not necessarily the best of outcomes as Aaron Bruce just sets himself. He's the superior body weight, and he's may have even given David Johnson a knock as Johnson is hobbling in back play. We'll come back to that at the moment, though, because once again, it's Canberra flowing forward. It's Harper. Might be Moline. It is Moline. He likes a shot on goal as much as the next man, but it's drifted away to the right and through for a point. But that is the three figures for the Canberra Demons, 15, 10, 100. They have an even 80-point break over the NT Thunder. And Eddie, as far as I'm aware, the highest score for the Canberra Demons ever was a 22-15, 147, and they'll have that in their sights this afternoon.
That's right. The NT Thunder will be looking to get another goal pretty soon to avoid scoring their lowest score ever, which is 3-6-24 against Sydney Uni last season. We'll keep an eye on a few of those stats this afternoon as the Thunder get it working forward. Tipping Woody has the ball, spins 360, kicks inside 50, kicks it to the lead, and here will be a shot on goal for the NT Thunder.
That's Rioli.
And it'll be Ben Rioli in the helmet to try and kick the Thunder beyond their lowest ever score.
Did you see Tippin Woody there? Just a little bit of magic. Got the ball, turned, ran 360, and then holding the ball in one hand, running full speed, and he's signalling to Rioli come forward.
Ben Rioli off the right boot, kicks the goal. That's the start for the second half that the Thunder were looking for. They look to have come out with a bit of voice and a bit of energy in this second half. They've got their fourth goal. They're 4-2-26. The Canberra Demons are an even 15-10 at 100. Well,
Rioli, one of the most dependable players for this NT Thunder side. Doesn't kick a lot of goals for them. In fact, only 5, I think, so far for the season prior to today. So he's got a couple this afternoon, and he'll be, well, I won't say he'll be a happy man, but certainly doing what he can to try and restore a little bit of pride to the scoreline for the NT Thunder here this afternoon. They're on to 4-2-26. The Canberra Demons 15-10, 100. Ball back in the middle. It's with David Newell, the umpire. The other umpires, by the way, Sam Nipris and Aaron Langdon. On the boundary this afternoon, it's Ben Feely, Liam Cashner, Matt Thompson, and Kim Schultz and Dale Purin behind the goals as the Thunder might win a clearance here through Tip and Woody, but no, it only goes as far as the Demons. So it bounces around in the middle of the park. Kicked forward now into the path of Ben Rioli. He's overrun it and instead is shouldered away from the ball ball by Bruce. Bruce then gives it around to Baker. Baker short with the hand pass. He finds it was Maguire. Maguire's kick is cut off. It comes back. Oh, that's beautiful play there. 1-on-1, or 1-2-1 rather, from Carroll to Rioli. Back to Carroll. Short ball then into the forward line for Anchors. Anchors turns around and he finds Jacob Templeton. The 2018 Sandful reserve grade Magarey medalist puts his side deep into attack. Bit of wrestle, bit of push and shove going on. I think Lockyer may have been trying to benefit from it. Instead, though, once again, it's Canberra on the rebound. Ball put into the path of Smout, maybe a little bit too far out from him. Picked up off the ground by Osborne. Osborne finds the NT Thunder. They keep the ball in play. Oh, who's that who's come in hard for the tackle? We got Carr deep in back play. I'm just waiting to see who it is as he gets up. It was Highmore came in and laid the big tackle on Templeton. Ball goes over the boundary line. That's one of the most ferocious tackles of the day there from Highmore.
It's certainly been very intense all over the ground today, Canberra. They have come out pretty determined, hoping to put in a good performance for their captain, Aaron Bruce, who breaks the NEAFL Games record today. And surely Cade Klimke has to send him forward at some point this afternoon. Give the people what they want. As the Demons get the ball moving towards the wing, it's cut off by Delahunty. He goes into the middle of the ground, and the Thunder just playing with a bit of extra spirit in this second half so far. Kieran Parnell's been busy. He gives the hand pass off there to Moroney. Moroney goes with a low ball towards half forward, and things just looking a bit better in this second half as Johnston will look to send the NT Thunder deep inside 50. He goes with a high kick. Williams is camped underneath it, coming in from the back and being paid the mark.
It's the man with the bung ankle.
It's Nigel Lockyer Jr., and he'll go back to try and kick the goal.
He's flown off one foot, Eddie. He had that foot strapped earlier in the game. He's flown high, taken the grab, and now he's got a shot on goal.
So Nigel Lockyer Jr. trots in off the left. Well, it was a great mark, and it's a great finish, and the Thunder have kicked 2 in a row.
They haven't done that, I don't think, at any stage of the afternoon, so I think the margin's too big for them to overcome, but they'll be looking to restore some dignity. 5-2-32, the Thunder. The Demons, 16-11-107. 7 minutes gone in the third term.
Is that scoreboard right, you reckon, Chris? Or did they get... No, they gave Canberra a goal because they were so used to giving Canberra goals through this match. They've now subtracted that 16th Canberra goal.
Did I say 16?
Yeah, but that's what the scoreboard said. But they'd added the goal.
15-10-100.
Because they were on autopilot.
15-10-100 to 5-2-32. We've got all the numbers that we need now. Wish I could have done that on Thursday night when Powerball was $110 million just quietly. Could have bought myself a NEAFL team. Ball back in the middle. It's bounced there by Aaron Langdon, and the ball goes out of the circle. And once again, it's the Thunder coming away with it. They did well in the second half against Canberra earlier in the year after the Demons had started well in Darwin, but this time it's back into the Canberra hands of Richardson. Richardson waits for someone to come into space. It was Swan. Swan then finds Osborne. Osborne just pings it forward. Now going for the mark there, I think it was Powell, but the ball was already over the line. And so it'll be a point for Canberra. They've only added 2 points so far. It's been their lowest scoring period of the game. 2 points in just 8 minutes, but now they're starting to assert some superiority. They cut the ball off there via Pake. Coming back through the middle of the park now is House. House looks across, centre half forward, waiting for it, and sitting there comfortably was Osborne. Osborne has a man calling for it on his outside. That's Evans. Evans could go in short, does go in short. He kicked it to where Sam Martin had called from. Problem was Martin had moved and his opponent hadn't. So the ball now in the hands of Delahunty, one of the better players for the Thunder today. He goes by the right boot around the wing. Waiting at the back of the pack for it was Maguire. He's waiting too far back. All he can do is lay the tackle. Umpire says no prior opportunity for the man Williams to get rid of the ball, and it'll be a ball up right in front of our camera position here, western side of Manuka.
So the umpire throws it up. Pake and Hanneth go at it. Hanneth wins it down pretty comfortably. Carroll was tackled immediately. It spills out to Maguire. In fact, there is Carroll. It was Anchors who had the ball originally. Now it comes out to Templeton. Templeton under pressure from Evans. Gets the hand pass towards Carroll, but Swan gets in to chop it off. Then Swan with a bit of a don't argue, and then Swan kicks it out of bounds on the full. An eventful passage of play there for the Canberra Demons co-vice captain Andrew Swan. And it ends up in Thunder hands in defence. The kick is across the ground. It ends up there Might be Delahunty again, perhaps, in the back pocket who took that mark. Now it comes out towards the wing. One-on-one contest. Demons getting there in numbers. Harper's waiting for it. He gathers. He feeds the hand pass forward. Demons will go inside 50 again. Mitch Hardy marks right on the paint of 50. And he's within range here, Chris.
Will he have a crack? I think he's going to. Does enjoy getting a goal. Hasn't got one so far today. One of the few attacking options for the Canberra Demons yet to put himself into the majors column. It will be right on his range.
Distance shouldn't be a problem for Mitch Hardy, although, well, perhaps he's just setting it up. It's right on the line. It is off hands, so maybe just a fraction beyond him today, Mitch Hardy. We have seen him kick plenty of long goals before. The Thunder, I thought they were going to go the quick kick in, but in fact they decide to leave the ball there for Ben Rioli to come in and do the kicking back into play. He goes for a bit of a run out into the pocket, has a bounce, then he gives the hand pass off. He keeps on running there, Ben Rioli, so we'll watch him through this passage of play as he works his way forward. He's presenting himself as an option, but the kick instead is towards Chris Williams. And the Thunder are able to work it out again here. So they're just frustrating Canberra a little in this third quarter. The kick now comes towards half forward. Vardaniga went with the spoil. Highmore was there to lend support. Martin as well. Martin gives it to Baker. Baker shrugs the tackle and gives it to Maguire. This is a good-looking piece of play here from Canberra. Sam Martin's kept on running. He gives the hand pass back to Smout. Smout's kick is out into the half-forward flank where might be Riley Corbett diving in to take the mark. He gives it off to Hardy. Hardy goes with a long ball towards Carr in the pocket. It was just over him. He got a hand on it, but it's through for a minor score. And the Demons tick up now to 15-13, 103. The Thunder, 5-2-32.
And the Demons have added but 4 behinds in this quarter. Will not be pleasing to their coach, Kate Klemke, at the moment, but still plenty of time left in this one. The margin is at 71 points. Thunder goes short. Waiting further up the ground is Moroney, but they may well go over the top of him. They do. Coming in underneath it is Williams. He flies in underneath it, but it falls to the advantage there of Jess Butterick. Butterick goes short. He gets it there to Melville. Melville, he's found a teammate, but the umpire's blown a whistle in here, so it's going to come back. A bump in there. I think it's actually going to come back to Melville. There's no real urgency to get the ball back, and indeed the ball's going to be taken by Williams, Damien Williams. His third stint at the NT Thunder. Played for them in 2012. In 2017.
The torp.
He's gone for the torp, and he's got plenty of distance on it, but it's all Canberra underneath it. Slinging tackle in there. Umpire will come in for a ball up. When was the last time you saw a torp from that part of the ground?
Never.
That's a monster. Well, the ball up to take place. I'll just sit down and watch that on replay on YouTube about 20 times, I reckon, as the Thunder try to come away with it, but once again, just too many Canberra players in there. The target was Pollock. He was racing in on it, but the ball wins the race to the boundary line. As the changes start to be rung, Corbett comes off, Pate comes back on. Osborne will be back on again shortly for Canberra, and coming back on for the Thunder in a moment or two will be McLaughlin and Little.
It's thrown back into play. Maynard getting in front there, knocks it down. Butterick was in the way though, tries to gather. Smout was there too, he was dispossessed. It's kicked inside 50 for the Thunder. Went over Williams' head, just socket out of defence now by Aaron Bruce. Sam Martin's trying to lead the race to the footy. He's got Tip and Woody there for company. Demons players get there in numbers. Guy Richardson paddles it to his own advantage. He's under a lot of pressure though from Tip and Woody. The umpire's paid a free kick. It looks like it'll go Canberra's way.
Tip and Woody maybe just a little bit overzealous in the tackle, and
Richardson just chips it short to Aaron Bruce. Just a slower build-up this time, perhaps, from Canberra. Bruce's kick is not a great one into the middle of the ground. It ended up with Carroll, who gives it off to Rioli. Rioli kicks inside 50 to a pretty open forward line. Vardaniga's been in good form the past couple of weeks. He knocked it to ground. Now the ball's in a bit of a stalemate. It comes out the Thunder's way. It might be Lockyer Jr. again, off the left. He just misses. That would have been an extraordinary goal to Nigel Lockyer Jr. with only one ankle. Alas, it missed to the right. It's 5-4-34, the NT Thunder. The Demons 15-13, 103.
Ball in the hands of Evans in defence at the moment for Canberra. He looks up to find Smout, who is still in space on his own. He'll go for a bit of a run. Puts it on the chest of Hardy now. Canberra presenting targets in multiple options. Harper again. He's had a lot of possessions today. Ball up to Swan. Swan then goes back. He finds Highmore. Highmore turns around, sees Martin behind him. Martin then spots Powell in open space. Powell puts the ball in towards centre half forward. Oh, screaming for it is Evans, and they get it to him. He'll be 50 out. Oh, he was half a step from playing on there. But instead, he'll be allowed to go back and take his shot. They kick from just inside 50 here, Will Evans. This will be interesting, Eddie.
And that was a good build-up with some short kicks there from Canberra, holding on to the footy, getting a series of marks and then getting it into a good position for Kel Evans to take this shot directly in front.
Very still day from just inside 50, straight in front of the goals. And, it was half an inch short. Reaching up, I reckon it was Parnell who reached up, goes for the quick restart now and sends it to Little. Little has a man in short there. It's the big man in Templeton, the former college basketballer. He slows play up. Calling for it is Johnston. He'll go further than him. Not much further. It's been touched. Play on. Charging through the pack was Vardaniga. Vardaniga gives it off to Kel Evans, who again has been busy. He goes underground. It goes via Osborne. Back to Vardaniga. Vardaniga is bumped as he kicks, and the ball goes out of bounds on the full, deep in the forward pocket for the Canberra Demons. It'll be an NT Thunder 3 free kick. We've been playing for 16 minutes, and the Canberra Demons are goalless here. I don't think I've ever seen a side kick 15 goals in the first half, and then nothing in terms of majors in the next 15 minutes. Eddie, I don't think I've ever seen that before.
Well, I guess it's difficult to maintain, and we asked this at half-time, is it difficult to maintain concentration when you are holding on to such a big lead? Here goes Abe Ankers. He has one bounce. He has a second. He's running away from Guy Richardson. He has a third bounce. He kicks it inside 50. Aaron Bruce is there. He knocks it down. There's a free kick paid for a hold. It goes Canberra's way. They take the advantage. The kick comes to Tom Highmore, who marks on the chest. He kicks it inwards to Cal Evans. Another mark, another disposal coming up for Cal Evans. He has one bounce. He goes with the hand pass now to Lucas Moline, who gets a shepherd from Powell. He jogs inside 50, Lucas Moline, and he kicks a goal.
It's been a long time coming, but Canberra finally get their 16th of the afternoon. 16-14, 110. The NT Thunder 5-3-33. And we finally saw the Canberra side able to do what they'd done so effectively through most of the first half, Eddie. And they finally got 3 or 4 players in space and kept the head up and looked out for them. And as a result, we're able to go virtually coast to coast. Yep. There and put that goal on the board, and the margin back out to, I've got to do some fingers and toes work here, what is it, 77 points by my maths.
And that's been a problem for the Thunder Day. If they've gone inside 50 and haven't been able to generate a shot on goal, it's been all too easy for the Canberra Demons to whip the ball out of defence, whip it straight up the other end of the ground. And Lucas Moline getting on the end of one there to become the Canberra Demons' 9th goal scorer of this afternoon. Mitch Maguire and Tom Fall lead the way with 3 goals each. Maynard knocks that one down to Alex Smout, who hands it forward to Harper. Smout kept on running, sold a bit of candy, just got his kick away in time. It dribbles towards Tom Fall, who gathers. He looks to give the hand pass to Hardy. Hardy gives it back to Fall, who's got a little bit of space now if he can pick up the footy. He does eventually. He goes off the left, just puts it to the hot spot. Evans crashed the pack, couldn't take the mark. The ball's on the ground now. Corbett was in there as well, so's Harper. Harper just soccers it off the ground towards Paik, who couldn't hold on. Thunder will try and rush this one through.
Paik's claiming the goal.
And he's going to be given the goal. Well, 2 in a minute for the Canberra Demons. That one in pretty extraordinary circumstances. And Alex Paik joins the goal-kicking party at Manuka Oval.
What's the Bible passage? Something about getting a camel through the eye of a needle. Alex Paik got that ball through a gap that was not much bigger than a ball. And he's got his first for the afternoon. And what's that make? 10 goal scorers, Eddie?
That's right.
That's a lot of firepower for this Canberra side. And now 17-14 at 116. The NT Thunder 5-3-33. I just wonder too, Eddie, we talked about this young Northern Territory side. I reckon they've come out, they've thrown everything at it with a fresh release of life after the long half-time break. But now the endurance of the more mature Canberra side starting to come to the fore, and they may well wind up putting several more majors on the board in this third term as it comes down into the path of Maguire. He can't get control of it, but there's again too many players from Canberra in there. Moline, I think it is, who's running away from Rioli. Rioli winds up actually with a more effective tackle. The ball spills free, but Moline comes back in there, back under the pack. It may have been Maguire who gets the kick away. That would be a Harper now in possession of the ball. It's held to him moments after he's got it, and the umpire says no chance to dispose of it. So it'll be a ball up on the narrow wing of Manuka Oval. If you're wondering why we're referring to it as the narrow wing, it's because the centre square is offset from the true centre of the ground over to that far side. Ball that comes free, and there's a free kick being called here behind play, or is it going to be balled back up again? There's a free kick for a high tackle or high contact, and it will be Harper to take the free. Canberra running into space, and in the nearest space to the man with the ball was Highmore. He can turn around, sends it back to House. House, he got a lot of cheap possessions and a little bit of back and forth play earlier this afternoon. Now gives it to Baker. Baker pops it onto the head, almost onto the head of a teammate, who then spots in space further up the ground Pollock. Pollock going further forward. He gave it to, it was Evans. Evans, was it Maguire? And then on to Hardy. Now Hardy, he's on a fairly decent angle here, but again, it's a very still day, and he's going to take the shot.
He thought about giving it off at the last moment there, Mitch Hardy, but he's one of few Canberra forwards who hasn't kicked a goal today, and he'll be pretty keen to get on the board here.
And Canberra just going to the man in front, kick it short, kick it to a target, as opposed to a contest. The right foot starts off to the right, curves back to the left, and having gone goalless for 16 minutes, Canberra have now kicked 3 in less than 5 in this third term. 18-14, 122. The Demons, the NT Thunder, 5-3-33.
And those back-to-back goals to the Thunder, perhaps just poking the bear a bit and waking up the Canberra Demons, spurring them into action. And it's difficult psychologically when you're the opposition side and you're trailing now by, what's that, more than 89 points. Yeah. You've kicked a couple of goals, you've gotten yourself a bit more respectability on the scoreboard, and suddenly, in the space of a few minutes, that's all wiped away again. It's difficult psychologically to try and stay in the game.
The NT Thunder, there's plenty to look forward to about this side. Not necessarily this season, but there's some real talent here in amongst the youngsters. And there'll be players to watch out for in future years. And while it's not great for them on today to be on the receiving end of a pretty one-sided result, they'll learn plenty from it, and in years to come it'll give them plenty more resilience. That ball bounced in the middle of the park, winding up outside the circle, and umpire Sam Nipris tosses it up again. Maynard gets the best of it, almost winds up chasing to do his own clearance, but the ball's banged clear. I think it was Baker who had descended upon it at speed and just hoofs the ball into the forward line. Fall was trying to get in there. Hardy winds up with it. Hardy has the ball held to him. Umpire will ball it up once again, about 48 out from the Canberra goals.
So 3-2 for the Demons in this third quarter as the ball came to Mitch Hardy. He just couldn't quite hold on to it. Powell trying to barge his way through there. The umpire will wait. He'll come in and ball it up. So it'll be tossed up just outside 50 for the Canberra Demons, who kicked 6-1 in the first quarter and then slammed on 9-2 in the second quarter as the ball is worked clear here by the NT Thunder. It comes out towards Tippenwoody. He's not first to the ball, though. He does get there and lay a very strong tackle, and will get a stoppage, ball up, just forward of the wing for the Canberra Demons. Just a handful of fans sitting over there in the orange seats over on that outer side of the ground as the umpire gets ready to throw it up. Neither ruckman really able to do anything out of that contest. The ball ends up over the boundary line, and we'll get another stoppage on that outer side of the ground. Cal Evans currently on the bench for Canberra. He's had 23 disposals. He's waiting to come back on. Angus Baker has had 24. Mitch Maguire leads all comers with 25. The leading disposal winner for the NT Thunder is Kieran Parnell with 14 disposals. But you've got more than a handful of Canberra players who have all had well over that number. As Canberra get it towards half forward here, the ball's in dispute. The umpire's paid a free kick for some high contact. It will go the Thunder's way. Looks like Wills out there who kicks it to the wing. And there's a mark to Damien Williams. So a chance for the NT Thunder to just steady and have a better setup, a better approach this time. Adam Tippenwoody has the ball in hand in the corridor. He kicks it out towards the half forward flank. No mark that time, but it's hacked towards the forward line. Unfortunately, it's hacked out of bounds on the full, and it'll be a Canberra free kick under the Jack Fingleton scoreboard.
Yeah, Cade Klemke, the Canberra coach, will be happy with the effort there shown by Highmore to come in, even with as good as a 90-point lead, to come through and attempt to spoil and affect the spoil in the end. And now his side winds up with the ball again with Martin, I reckon it is. They got the little hand pass around, calling for it. is Powell. It goes to that man now. They're going to work it around to this grandstand side via Vardaniga. Try and say that quickly 3 times. Ball goes further forward now, and here is Highmore in a contest with Rioli, and brute strength wins out in the end. Ball popped back to House. House able to wait. Now he can give it to Highmore. Highmore has Baker in space. He can pop it onto the running Vardaniga. Vardaniga shifts over to his left, runs around the man, goes by foot, goes forward, and is unceremoniously dumped after he's kicked the ball. So it should be a free downfield for mine, and it is. There'll be plenty of players asking for it. It winds up with Swan. Swan, wobbly old kick in towards the forward line, but it eventually gets the target, and that target was Connor Owen Orban. He decides not to take a shot because standing in, well, plenty of clear space is Evans, and Kel Evans. He had a shot from a similar line, but about 8 metres further out not so long ago, that was touched right on the line. Eddie, this time with, well, that extra 8 metres, you'd imagine he'd back himself in.
Other teams are going to have a look at Kel Evans. He's had way too much space today. He found himself in all sorts of space here. It's a wobbly old kick.
Don't tell him it's been touched on the line again. No, just over. Just over. So Evans gets his third, and he's doing them, well, evenly spaced. 1 in the first, 1 in the second. Now he has 1 in the third quarter, and he would be the third Canberra player to have a haul of 3 so far this afternoon. The Demons approaching a 100-point margin now. They're 19-14, 128. The NT Thunder 5-3, 33, 26 gone in the third term. And that is what the 4th goal for Canberra in this third quarter, after the NT Thunder had kicked the first 2. And I wouldn't bet against Canberra scoring another major, or maybe even 2 before three-quarter time, Ed.
That's now 24 disposals for Kel Evans. Also 10 marks, which goes to show the amount of space he's being allowed. He's had 5 inside 50s and, of course, 3 goals and 1 behind.
Well, he's having a day.
Seems to mostly be starting on the wing at a lot of the centre bounces, and other sides are going to have a look at what do they do to try and stop Kel Evans, because the influence he's had today has been pretty enormous.
The Thunder take the ball away via Hanneth. Short ball, I think it may have been Rusker who got it. The kick over to the far side of the ground now, but once again, it's just all Canberra. Moline was coming through. There's a free kick in back play, which is going to go the way of the NT Thunder. So they'll be able to get the ball into their attacking 50 and do so now as the pack flies. It comes off the hands of the pack. Is that Monagatti in there? I haven't seen a lot of him for today. Usually one of the more prolific players for the Thunder. Ball is back into the pack. And it is going to be balled up about 30 out from the NT Thunder goal. They haven't been down here for quite a while. Ball comes free, and the snapshot comes there. Was it Brodie Carroll? Through for a point. So the Thunder move on to 5-5-35. And the ball having to be retrieved from under the netting there behind the goals. The low trajectory shot through. 27.5 gone in the third term, and it's now with Harper for Canberra. I may have given the NT Thunder an extra point. The scoreboard may have been a smidgen ahead of us. We see the ball coming back across the ground now as Highmore, man who takes a lot of the kick-ins for Canberra. He was a long way from home, so now getting involved. He's got a man in plenty of space, several men in plenty of space, in fact. Powell is one of them. Could go to Harper, could go to Carr. Which way does he look? Instead he goes, well, for some fairly steady hands, in Bruce. They're still inside the defensive 50, Canberra, but they've done this a lot to the NT Thunder today. Now they go long, a couple of players in space. Pake winds up with it. He could have gone quickly onto Pollock, but the game plan is obviously hang on to the ball. And, well, that came unstuck as Fall was cut off there at the knees by Parnell. Parnell sent the ball into the forward line. Ooh. Rioli's dropped an absolute sitter. He might have to turn something very ordinary into something magical. And he goes for the little roly-poly goal and gets his third for the afternoon, his second for the quarter. And the Thunder move on to 40 points. 6-4-40. The Demons, 19-14, 128. But that was, well, bad then good from Rioli.
Yeah, 3 goals today for Ben Rioli. He's been a shining light for the NT Thunder. That was a nice passage of play. They'd opened up the Canberra Demons, and Rioli fortunately was in enough space to be able to recover before Aaron Bruce could shut him down. And we see the Thunder now 6-4-40. The Demons are 19-14, 128. And Chris, this is currently, as it stands, the 3rd highest ever score by the Canberra Demons, their 2nd highest ever at this ground. Their highest ever score was last season against Redland at Scottsdale Park, 22-15, 147. And their highest ever here at UNSW Canberra Oval was also last year against Redland, 2014, 134. We could see a couple of those, or certainly at least one of those scores, knocked off this afternoon. As we're back in the middle, Maguire had the footy. He was dispossessed. Harper's there as well. It comes to Owen Orban. He kicks it forward into space for Canberra. The Thunder defence leading the way this time. Might have been Moroney who gets the kick defensive side of the wing. And the Thunder just playing with, again, a bit more energy in this third quarter, although things might have come unstuck over there on the wing. Owen Orban has gone in hard on top of the pack. The umpire will award him with a free kick for holding the ball.
Too many men, too much muscle, and the Demons, well, they're eventually going to come up with the ball.
They can get it out of there.
There is a real turf war going on, and the short hand pass from Owen Orban onto Harper, who sends the ball once again into the attacking 50. Waiting at the back of the pack was Pollock. It gets past him. It goes towards the boundary line. Moroney looks to hold on to it, then decides, well, actually, no, I might just spill it over the line. Little bit more time elapsed. 30 and a half gone. 88 points the margin at the moment. And there are but two players on the other side of the centre circle at the moment. And make that four as a couple of additional players drop a little bit away from the contest. Ball won by Hanneth in the ruck contest, but again, just too many Canberra players. Baker wheels onto his right, sends it high in the air, trying to take the spectacular was Bruce. Couldn't hang on to it. Taps it away from himself, volleyball style. There's still too many Canberra players around here. They'll be back inside their forward 50 in a moment as it's Carr who has the ball. He ducks under the tackle from Joel Butterick, but the siren sounds, and in comparative terms, a low-scoring third term for Canberra. They move on to 19-14, 128. And the NT Thunder 6-4-40, three-quarter time here at Manuka. The Thunder, incidentally, Eddie, doubling their score in that third term. They've gone from 3-2-20 to 6-4-40, but the margin is 88 points with 1 quarter of football to go here at Manuka on NEAFL TV.
Three-quarter time here at UNSW Canberra Oval, and it's the Canberra Demons with an 88-point lead over the NT Thunder. Canberra 19-14, 128. The Northern Territory side at 6-4-40. In the other NEAFL game underway at the moment at Giants Stadium, at half-time, an inaccurate Aspley, 5-12-42, lead the Giants 2-4-16. That action also being broadcast live on NEAFL TV. We're back underway. Final quarter here at Manuka. Josh Maynard won the hit out. It bounced off a boot. It then ends up in the hands of Lucas Moline, who gives it to Mitch Maguire, feeds it back to Highmore. Highmore sees Sam Martin running through. Martin kicks it beyond the wing towards Andrew Swan, who can't hold on to the mark. So now the ball's turned over and an opportunity for Hanneth to feed the hand pass back as the Thunder try and stay in this game and try and avoid breaking too many records they really don't want to break. Hanneth with a good kick forward to a target. And now it comes inside 50. Demons get back with numbers though. Tom Highmore back with the flight, takes the mark. He pokes it short for Ben Helse, who was a late inclusion today. Jonathan Spina not in the side this afternoon. He was the late omission. Helse chips it back to Tom Highmore. The Demons in the running to kick their highest score ever, which is 22-15, 147. Their second highest is 134. That was their highest ever at this ground. So we'd expect they'll surpass that in this final quarter. Angus Baker has the ball in the corridor. He's got Mitch Maguire running beside him. He elects to just go short to the captain, Aaron Bruce, who would have been a little disappointed to drop a mark inside 50 late in the third quarter. It could have given him a bit of a fairy tale goal. Perhaps he'll get another opportunity in this final term. He just went short to Sam Martin, who kicks across the ground to Jordan Harper. They're really working the angles here, Canberra. Harper's kick is marked by Matt Vardaniger.
What's he doing up there?
Who's moved up the ground. I had to put the binoculars on and check because I couldn't figure out why he was there. He goes across the ground to Tom Highmore. The reason he's there is because everyone is in Canberra's forward half of the ground except for Tom Highmore and the man on the mark. Highmore goes short to Bruce. He's got Evan. Oh, Bruce gets a 50-metre penalty.
It was a softish penalty. It was there. I can tell you.
Well, Delahunty doesn't think it was there.
He's not terribly thrilled about it, but he did run just across the mark at the crucial moment.
Well, we said Aaron Bruce might get another opportunity, another look at goal in this final quarter. 200 goals in his NEAFL career. Game number 155 today as he overtakes Thunder great Darren Ewing and becomes the NEAFL Games record holder. He's been involved since the comp began back in 2011, initially with Eastlake, now under the Canberra Demons banner. Can he kick? Career goal, number 201, off the right foot.
Oh, it's just drifted away.
Did I give that a bit of a build-up?
Just a little.
Anyway, he missed to the right, and the Demons tick up to 19-16, 130? No, 19-15, 129.
Gee, they're lightning on the scoreboard, aren't they?
They're good.
Ball comes back into play. It's with Monagatti now. Hardly been sighted for the Thunder this afternoon. He's usually one of their most prolific ball gatherers. Gets the ball away then, finds Chris Williams. Williams goes with a short hand pass. It bounces around, comes back to Carroll. Playing with a lot of ball off the ground at the moment. Charging through. That might have been Hardy. Goes on to Powell. Powell, oh, look at that from Harper. Holds the ball out to his right and then loses it. But I think he might have actually lost it in almost as a throw, I think.
He's been pinged for holding the ball.
He's been pinged for holding the ball. And the disposal thereafter wasn't great. So, well, good then bad. And the Thunder wind up with the ball. Short pass. Winds up with Chris Williams again. Goes with a big red head in McLaughlin. McLaughlin runs around, puts it onto his right boot, sends his side into attack. Highmore gets into the forward position in front of Delahunty, takes the mark, and once again the rebound is on for the Canberra Demons. It's with Baker. Baker then finds Carr, who's a long way from where we normally see him. He sends the ball to where Carr normally is, deep in the forward 50. Ball was onto the chest of Pake, but he couldn't hang on to it, and the clearing kick once again for the Thunder, but it only goes as far as Martin. Now Sam Martin is on the corner of the square. What's he do? Looks around, and well, it's been cut off in there. There's a lot of yellow jerseys in almost a breaching line, if you like. Now it comes to McLaughlin. McLaughlin goes short, puts the ball into a teammate. They've got plenty around here at the moment. Waiting for it, there was Jack Hanneth, but the ball was too low for the big man, and it trickles over the boundary line for a throw-in, far side of Manuka Oval.
And that gentleman over there on the hill will get a very good view of this stoppage as the umpire gets ready to throw it back in. as the ruckmen prepare. Maynard and Hanneth going at it in ruck. An interesting battle between them today, and hitouts pretty even. The Thunder 31 hitouts to Canberra 28. Maynard throwing his body in there, but Hanneth gets a kick away. It's chopped off by Pollock. He gives the hand pass back, and now it comes to Angus Baker, who kicks to Jack Powell, who marks low down. Waits for options to stream forward. It's a very crowded forward line. If he can get it deep to Tom Fall, there might be a bit of space. He just kicks it long. Fall will fly. He couldn't take the mark. Carr was there as well. He's at the bottom of the pack. The umpire's waiting. The umpire decides to come in and throw it up 30 metres out from the Canberra Demons goal.
Now, when I was a kid, Eddie, we used to play tunnel ball at school. Did you ever play tunnel ball at
Yes,
school?
we did.
I used to wonder of the usefulness of it. And I reckon Harry Carr was probably one of the best tunnel ball players around, because that's what he did there. Umpire decided to ball it up instead of allowing play to continue, and now we've got another pack forming, and there's no tunnel ball this time. It'll be another ball up, about 35 out from the goal. Canberra encroaching on their second highest score of all time as a NEAFL team. Ball is punched away into the path of Connor Owen Orban. He can't do anything with it. And now a hurried clearing kick. Only gets as far as David Johnston for the Thunder, but he's taken the mark. Held off House. Johnston coming around the grandstand side, finds Carroll. Carroll has a look, decides, well, maybe I'll give it back to Johnston. And Johnston goes for the big kick. A high ball to High Moore. He couldn't hang on to it. Rioli sharked it off the ground, has the ball held to him. So he was slung in the tackle there, and just for a moment I was a little bit worried the way he went motionless on the ground, but he's all right. Only man in the headgear out there today. Didn't have a chance to get rid of it though, so ball up continues. Into the ruck for Canberra goes Corbett. Probably gets the best of it, then it comes back to him. He sends a kick over his head into, well, vacant space. The speed of Wills is beaten by the determination of Powell, but again, the flies around the honeypot. The ball's in the bottom of the pile. No one's infringed there. Umpire will come in for another ball up just inside the interchange gates. Grandstand side of Manuka Oval, with the home side up by 89 points, 6.5 gone in the last term. Ball back in the air. I don't think Hanneth intended to do that, but he wound up getting some sort of a hit out there, but only again into a secondary pack. And it'll be another ball up. Eddie, see if you can get the ball away from here.
Yeah, more stoppages so far in this quarter than we've seen in the rest of the match. It has been pretty free-flowing stuff. So better by the Thunder, I suppose, to try and lock the ball up a bit and stop Canberra's free-flowing scoring. Mitch Hardy's able to create a bit of space. He feeds it back to Smout, who tried to get around anchors, got the kick away just in time, but it's cut off by Ben Rioli. An excellent mark going back with the flight. He wants to get it moving quickly. Just goes with a short pass. It was marked and then kicked towards the wing, but kicked out of bounds on the full. So a Canberra free kick coming up on the wing to Alex Smout, who goes for Maguire, marks overhead. Had to use every inch of his height there, Mitch Maguire, to hold on to that one. He's got Powell on short. He's going to go further than that. He kicks it inside 50 towards Hardy and Paik takes the mark.
Geez, a strong man, isn't he? It's deceptive. You don't realise just how big and strong he is until you see him up close.
It'll be interesting to see how big and strong his kick is here, Alex Paik. He'll have to kick from outside 50 on about a 45-degree angle. He'll go off the left foot. The kick looks pretty good. Will it have the distance? Absolutely. Alex Paik has two, and the Demons have their highest ever score at UNSW Canberra Oval and the second highest score in their history.
Oh. Well, he had the distance. My word, he had the distance. He's
Kicked
put that
it
through
halfway up.
I was going to say 3/4 of the way up.
Did that 10-kilometre breeze swing round?
Must have done. Monster kick from outside 50 on the left side, and Alex Paik gets his second for the afternoon, and it's a 95-point break here.
Which would also be, if the siren were to go now, this would be the highest ever winning margin in Canberra Demons history.
Well, there's still plenty of time left in this one. Only 8.5 gone. And the Canberra Demons, well, talked a bit about their percentage in the first half. We haven't really returned to it since the half-time break. But what have they done at this stage? They've got it up to 90.5, so they're still 5.1 behind the Sydney Uni side. But in percentage terms, but they may well be able to get a few more points shaved off that gap between now and the end of the game. But the Thunder have the ball going into attack. Bruce flies in defence for the Canberra Demons, and I think it might be Hardy in there as well with him. Ball pops free, taken out by Martin. Martin then gets it onto Evans. Evans finds Smout, It really has been all Canberra for a large proportion of the afternoon. And again, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 Canberra players running in a pack up the middle of the park as it goes in towards centre half forward. Comes off the hands. Little hand pass. It's over to Lucas Moline. And the Riverina product bangs one through and takes the lead out past 100. Lucas Moline gets his second for the afternoon.
It's difficult to get a read on the Canberra Demons form, I think, Chris, because they have been very good today, but the pressure just has not been there from the NT Thunder. They're the bottom-placed side. They have struggled this season, and it's just difficult to get a read on how good Canberra has been today because the pressure just has not been there. And again, we see almost a training drill as the Demons work the ball from defence into attack, and Lucas Moline with an excellent finish. That's one positive, is the ability of a number of players across the ground to get on the scoreboard to kick accurately. So the forward line functioning pretty well. The defence just hasn't really been tested as strongly as they will be by other sides like Sydney Uni, like Southport, like Aspley and like the AFL listed sides.
Canberra 6 points short of their highest ever score. And you'd suggest that's in danger now with only 10 minutes gone in this final term, and a free kick here coming their way as it is offloaded to Bruce by Maynard. Bruce sends the ball forward. He's looking for Swan. Swan taps it to his own advantage, keeps it in the field of play. Oh, that's beautiful ball there from Powell. Powell turns around, sends it back and gives it on to, I think it may have been Swan again. Ball back inside the forward 50. Now here is Swan now. He bends over, he picks it up, he pops a little hand pass over to Harper. Harper gets it on to Corbett. Corbett back to Harper, he sent it. Oh, look at that. Don't tell me he's threaded it through. Oh, he has. What kind of an angle was that? From right next to the post, it's Mitch Hardy. He couldn't have seen daylight between those posts, Eddie. He couldn't possibly have seen it. It was such an acute angle.
Well, just again, the Demons players streaming forward in numbers, working together, hunting as a pack, and Mitch Hardy ending up on the end of one there. Somehow just saw a little bit of light. It is a sunny day now that the fog has lifted. And Mitch Hardy getting on board for, what's that, his second goal of the afternoon. Canberra
equal their highest ever score. 22-15, 147. The NT Thunder 6-4-40. Any other score from the Canberra Demons at this point puts them into the club record books this afternoon. And I think the NT Thunder, well, I don't think they'll fancy their chances at keeping Canberra scoreless for another 20-odd minutes of footy. Ball goes down in the middle of the ground. Tap is won by Canberra, but it goes into the path of Tip and Woody. He's just fleet of foot. How did he manage to hang on to that? He has a shot from just inside 50 on the run, and it drifts away to the left for a minor score. The NT Thunder 6-5-41. Canberra 22-15, 147. The Demons will have the ball. Short kick goes in towards Highmore. Canberra have been really dangerous with this afternoon. They've shown great patience in their own defensive half of the field. This time, however, they've turned it over, only momentarily. Ball comes back through hands, and Harper gets his second turn on it as we see them go forward, courtesy of Smout. Smout onto Pake. Pake then finds Hardy. Hardy, the man who threaded the impossible needle a few moments ago, now finds a man in short in Baker. Baker plays on. And it's been kicked into the, oh, Jesus, bounced back towards a Canberra player. And the shot is away for a point. Well, it's not the prettiest of ways to bring up your record highest score, but they all count in the scorebook in the end. Canberra move on to 148. They've never been into this part of the scoring territory before. 22-16, 148, 107 points clear of their opposition as the NT Thunder. Oh, they bring the ball back in very, very quickly to Damien Williams.
And Harry Carr just had a look at Jack Powell there and said, Jack, I was alone at the top of the goal square. You should have given it to me. Anyway, he might get another chance here. Evans takes the footy. He goes low and he does find Harry Carr, and Harry Carr will get another shot on goal.
It's not the easiest of shots.
In fact,
he decides not to
give
do
it off.
Yep, he's given it off, and it's gone over the head of Evans. He's picked it up and regathered.
So Evans working hard there, following up his own work, but just not able to hold on. He's got Carr there in support, but Evans might try and do it all on his own. He lost the footy. The ball goes out of play. We'll get a boundary throw in, and I guess when you're 107 points up, you can do things a bit differently, but perhaps a missed opportunity there for the Canberra Demons as the ball will be thrown back into play. Maynard and Hanneth to go at it in ruck. Hanneth has toiled hard today for the Thunder side. 30 hit-outs, 15 disposals, a couple of inside 50s and 4 rebound 50s for the former Fremantle Dockers ruckman. A pretty shallow throw in there. It came down to Powell, but he coughed it straight up to Tip and Woody. Now it comes out towards McLaughlin, who's tackled immediately by Sam Martin. The ball is knocked out. It's hand passed back into play by Templeton. Richardson gathers for Canberra. Gives it to Harper. Harper sees Angus Baker. Baker off the right foot. Kicks it towards full forward. No mark. It's in a dangerous spot if the Thunder can't gather. It came to Mitch Hardy. He was immediately tackled by Chris Williams and will get a ball up 30 metres out directly in front of the Canberra Demons goal.
Both sides ringing the changes now as we get deep into this game here. 107 points the margin, 15 gone in the final term, and the ball again in the hands of a Canberra Demons player. It's just been that story all day inside the forward 50 for them. I know that the NT Thunder had plenty of rebounds out of there, but the other thing is that Canberra have had 38 scoring shots this afternoon, Eddie. So they've been very much indicative of how things have gone. And once again, the Thunder, they try to rebound, and they do. They bring it out, and that would be Maroney bringing it out now. Goes for a kick, but oh, surprise, surprise, it's cut off by the Demons. It's Bruce now who has it. He sends the ball back into attacking territory for his side. He finds Pollock. Pollock has about 7 different options, goes inside the forward 50. Waiting for it there is Harper. Can't quite get onto it. Is that Highmore over there? Moline, in fact. Moline goes short. Harper's in there again. I'd love to see what his stats have been this quarter. We might see if we can pull that up because he's had plenty of it late in the game. Play on this time as the ball is still inside the forward 50, and we've got an NT Thunder man with it as the tackle is formed and players in over the top, and umpire David Newell will come in to ball it up just inside the 50. Canberra looking for a 150 as would be appropriate here at Manuka. 6
disposals so far in this quarter for Jordan Harper, Chris.
There we go. So he's had plenty of it, most of them by hand, but certainly plenty of involvement. Now trying to clear it there. Might have been Templeton for the NT Thunder. They're way over the far side of the ground, and a very, very quick tackle laid. And once again, umpire is going to come in and ball it up. As the Canberra Demons look to just try and extend their record lead at the moment. Ball goes over the far side of the ground. In underneath it was Hardy. Couldn't control it. Ball spills towards the boundary line. And it'll be another throw in. This will take place at half forward for Canberra. Now we've got the umpire just putting his hand up for a moment there. Not sure what the question is all about. But
just checking that the ruckman had nominated, I think.
And he's got the signal. Throw comes back in. Hanneth gets it, taps it into the Canberra attacking area. Carr will come in, slides down hands and knees, picks it up. Not only a tunnel ball champion, but also, I'm not quite sure what sport that would have been other than Aussie rules, but he's dived in, picked it up, put the hand pass in towards Hardy, but couldn't control it. And it goes over the boundary line. Throw in now to take place inside Canberra's forward 50.
Yeah, Jordan Harper with 31 disposals for the match is the equal leading possession winner on the ground, along with Mitch Maguire. Angus Baker also has 30 for Canberra. As the Demons have it inside 50 again. Mitch Hardy hooks it off the left foot. And it's marked by Andrew Swan all too easily. And Andrew Swan will go back to try and kick goal number 3.
Just too easy. Just too easy. There were 3 or 4 players within a couple of metres of him, but I don't think anyone laid a finger on him, Ed. And well, Andrew Swan, he's kicked a couple of spectacular goals. This one will be very, very simple. He'll kick from 25 out at about a 5-degree angle from the perpendicular and does it with the right foot. Squeezes it inside the left post. The 150 comes up for the Canberra side now, and Andrew Swan gets his third for the afternoon. 23-16, 154. The NT Thunder 6-5-41.
Well, he just keeps building, Andrew Swan. He had 2 goals in the drawn game against Sydney Uni, his comeback game. Last week against Redland, he kicked 2 goals, and this afternoon he's got 3. So an excellent return from Andrew Swan in his first 3 games back after spending more than a year out of the game with that ACL injury. And he extends his side's lead now to 113 points, and we're not even in time on yet, Chris.
Not that you'd ever wish a player to kick a point when a goal's begging, but there'd be something poetic about it if Aaron Bruce was to score a point for the next score for Canberra, wouldn't there? That'd take them to 155 in his 155th game.
Yes.
Not that you'd ever wish that on a player as the ball goes down in the middle. And going up in the ruck there, that was Monagatti for the Thunder, and he got the punch away. And it's still in potentially Thunder possession as Templeton tries to get the ball away. But once again, too many Canberra players. Harper, he had another hand pass. He's just had so many of them today. Hot contest for the ball at the moment. It comes free now into the path of Rioli for the Thunder. He may have been taken high. Play on, says the umpire. Ball spurts free. And for a rare occasion, the Thunder with more players at the fall of the ball. Waiting underneath there was Carroll. Couldn't do anything with it, but tapped it in the end towards McLaughlin. McLaughlin goes by foot into attacking territory and flying as the Thunder, but the balls once again come down to the Demons via Martin. And there's plenty of numbers here. Able to go for a run. Martin might get it back. No, instead it comes into the path of Smout. He's had a quiet day by his prolific terms in recent weeks. Richardson has it. Hand pass. Comes back Maynard. Then on to Vardaniga. Vardaniga over to Bruce. Bruce over to the far side of the ground. Oh, there he is again. That man Harper. And into Smout. So he's lifted up a couple late in proceedings as they work it around the far side of the ground. Now who's in it forward? There's 1, 2, 3, 4 Canberra players waiting for it. It comes down to Swan. Swan bangs it through. Gets his 4th of the afternoon, and now the leading goal scorer for the game as the Canberra Demons move up to 160. 24-16, 160. The NT Thunder 6-5-41.
Well, he's found himself in the right place at the right time a few times over the past few weeks, Andrew Swan, and there it is, goal number 4 for him. You mentioned Alex Smout having a quiet game. Of course, he had something like 46 touches last week. Just the 24 today for Alex Smout.
Is it quiet by his standards?
I think
by his recent
by his
standards, yes.
He did seem to spend a fair bit of time on the bench in the opening half. So perhaps a different role today. And we've seen Harper and Evans really step up around the contest, and Maguire's been very good as well. Harper now has 35 disposals, Maguire 31, Baker 30, Evans 28, Smout 25, 22 for Bruce, 20 for Martin, and then the leading possession winner for the NT Thunder is Parnell with 19.
Yeah, it's a fair reflection of the way this game has been played out this afternoon. 21 gone in the final term, and it's a 119-point margin to the Canberra Demons, and the ball will be tossed up again by the umpire in just a moment because there's plenty of congestion around the pill after the restart. Wait for it to come back in. Thunder win the tap down, but again, it's all Canberra. It might have been Owen Orban who was in there, put the ball forward for his side, and there's still plenty of people contesting for it. Harry Carr is in there, and he just picks it up. That's out of theft from Harry Carr as he bounces it short of the goals and gets it through for another one. That's his 3rd for the afternoon. They're starting to do it at will now, this Canberra side, and don't think for a moment that they're not enjoying it, Eddie. They move on to 166 to the NT Thunder 41.
And perhaps a bit of rivalry inside 50 for Canberra at the moment, Chris. 4 goals to Swan, 3 goals to Fall, 3 goals to Carr. They'll be keen to get the one up on each other, and I reckon they'd be pretty keen to get Riley Corbett on the scoreboard as well. Probably the only strike forward for the Canberra Demons who hasn't kicked a major so far this afternoon. Demons
percentage up to 92.9. Another couple of goals in the offing for them here, and they could well close. I don't think they'll close the gap on Sydney Uni, but they've reduced it by from 10 plus at the start of the game down to a couple. So they've done what they needed to do this afternoon to correct one of their disadvantages on the ladder.
Hanneth and Paik went at it in ruck, but the umpire's going to redo that bounce. So we'll get a throw up as Hanneth and Paik get back into position. We've got Owen Orban, Smout and Maguire around this contest for Canberra. As it's thrown up, Hanneth might have just mistimed his leap. Maguire almost kicked it into Paik, and it ends up with Hanneth, who kicks the Thunder inside 50, and they get a mark on the chest there. Is it Chris Williams? He's looking like he might give it off before he decides to go back. He will give it off. He kicks it into the pocket. Highmore's going to get in front and take the easiest of marks. So just nothing
never in the
right.
ballpark for Delahunty, was it?
Nothing going right for the NT Thunder here. Highmore just goes short to Guy Richardson. They've had very few opportunities inside 50, the Thunder. They trail the inside 50s 68-32. And when they have gone forward, they just have not been able to make the most of those limited opportunities. A good mark there by Reece Pollock in front of Moroney. He got things moving on very quickly, but perhaps too quickly. Bruce under a bit of pressure. In comes Moroney again. He overran the footy. It ends up with Carroll, who sees Johnston on his own in the goal square. Great defensive effort there by Matt Vardaniga to spoil and knock it through for a rushed behind. And that says the NT Thunder tick up to 6-6-42, which is, I believe, the equal 5th lowest score in their history.
Well, you've got to give it to Matt Vardaniga there. You're up by 20 goals, and you still fly for the spoil to tap it through for a point instead of conceding another major. Try and say that this Canberra side don't know that every point counts for them at the moment. They have the ball now after 5 or 6 kicks. They get it outside of the defensive 50 via Richardson. He finds Maguire. Maguire, again, probably quite by his stellar terms in recent times, sends the ball inside the forward 50, or not quite, it falls short. Powell taps it onto the path of Corbett. Corbett then has given the ball to Pake. Pake puts it into the path of Swan, and he's got a bag of 5. Oh, coast to coast. Wow. That didn't take long once they got it outside of the 50, Ed.
They just look a different side with Andrew Swan in the forward line. And I know they haven't played any of the top sides over the past 3 weeks. They had that draw with Sydney Uni. They beat Redland, and they're going to have a comprehensive win here over the NT Thunder. But Andrew Swan just adds a different element to that Canberra forward line. He can play big and small. He can kick goals from any angle. He can pinch hit in the ruck if necessary. And Andrew Swan adding 5 goals and adding a lot more than that to the Canberra Demons forward line this afternoon.
Swan's the kind of player who, and I know he's an experienced player and so on, but at the end of this season, I'm assuming there is at the Canberra Demons presentation night, there'll be some sort of coach's award for a player who's gone above and beyond. And looking at what he's brought to this side in the last couple of weeks, you'd imagine that he'd be right in the running for that kind of an award. They burst out of the middle once again, Canberra. The ball winds up with Moline. He just turns around onto his right foot. He punches the air as he's let go of it, and then he realises it's drifting away to the right. It's only gone through for a minor. 26-17, 173. The Canberra Demons, the NT Thunder 6-6-42. 25 minutes has elapsed on the clock, and Canberra, they'll want another couple here. Rioli brings the ball back into play for the Thunder. Gives it to Carroll. Carroll looks across to his left. May still wind up going that way. He's got a couple of players across to the grandstand side, and in fact goes that way in the end. Looking for Hanneth, and Hanneth takes the chest mark. After a couple of seasons with Central District in South Australia, after his time at the Fremantle Dockers, now playing his trade for the NT Thunder is Hanneth, and had a decent afternoon in the ruck, goes short. And I reckon that was Johnston who had it, or was it Ruska? It was Ruska. They send it further up forward now. Trying to control it was Anchors, but well, once again the ball gets away from him. It's over the boundary line, throw in to take place just forward of the centre wing position for the NT Thunder. 26.5 gone in the final term.
So it's thrown back into play. Hanneth in front of Maynard. He takes it out of the ruck. He gives the hand pass. It's chopped off by Hardy. Gives it to his housemate, Mitch Maguire, who gives it back to Sam Martin, who's off and running. Hand passes forward for Cal Evans, who sees a pretty open forward line. Has a couple of bounces, straightens up, looks at the goals, and Cal Evans has kicked 4.
He could have taken another 2 or 3 bounces there too, Evans. Went the quick way, and he has done it now. 1 in each quarter. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, this is clearly the best game we have seen Cal Evans play, and he came with big raps. He was a big signing, having been extremely successful in the local competition last season with Queanbeyan, and now this afternoon really starting to show us what he's capable of, although he's coming off the ground and he looks a bit sore. Hopefully just a bit of cramp for Cal Evans. We'll keep an eye on him as he comes to the Canberra Demons bench, and Reece Pollock runs back onto the field of play.
Well, he had to go a fair old distance, didn't he? Went for a couple of bounces in there.
He does look to be in quite a bit of pain, so potentially just cramp. We will keep an eye on Cal Evans as he receives a little bit of treatment on the Canberra interchange bench.
The Demons 179, the Thunder 42, 27.5 gone. This will be a secondary restart coming here as the ball gets away from umpire David Newell. Tell you what, the umpires have had a good game this afternoon.
I think they have, yes.
Oh, it's the old saying, isn't it? The umpires have their best games when you hardly notice them, and I reckon we've hardly noticed them this afternoon. Hanneth gets the tap away, and it goes onto the chest of Carroll, one of the best for the Thunder today, and that's always the way you give a guy a rap, and then that happens as it winds up with Vardaniga. Vardaniga back to Baker. Baker looks for Maguire, finds him. He seeks out Smout, and it goes into the path then of Harper. He's had a lot of possessions this afternoon, hasn't scored any, and he will continue to not score because he's given it there. I reckon that might be Hardy over there. Hardy likes them from this side. He put one through from adjacent to the post earlier this afternoon. This time he's a little bit further out, but on a similarly acute angle, and he's going to take a shot. The lead at the moment is 137. They'll come in off the right, tries to curl it around. The goal umpire shuffles a little and shuffles a little further and then comes back to the spot and gives it both barrels. And Hardy, well, he's kicked 2 spectacular goals in this final term. 3 for the day. And the Canberra Demons move on to 185, 28, 17, 185 to the NT Thunder, 6-6-42.
You've got to give credit to Canberra. They've kicked 28 goals and some of them have been excellent finishes and very accurate kicking, particularly in this quarter. They've now kicked, 9 goals, 3.
They've kicked 9 goals in this quarter, 9 goals in the second quarter. And this from a side that a lot of time, Eddie, we've seen them run down in the last quarter. We've also seen, probably more often than not, seen them go quieter in the last quarter. So this will be very satisfying for their coach, Cade Klemke. He'll be really happy to see this Canberra side just continuing to apply the blowtorch.
We're back in the middle. Maynard knocks it down to Harper. Another clearance for Jordan Harper. He breaks free, kicks it inside 50. Kick didn't really favour Paik. He might get it in the end, though. He goes in hard. He's tackled. The ball isn't really going to come out. The umpire waits. He calls play on. It does come out. It comes out the Thunder's way. Back there is Moroney under pressure, gets the kick away, but he kicks it to a pack of 3 Canberra Demons. One of them is Aaron Bruce, who just knocks it to the side. It comes now to Maguire. Maguire turns inwards and sees Angus Baker, who stands tall and marks at the attacking edge of the centre square. So Angus Baker, as he so often does, sends Canberra inside 50. Oh. And is it the man of the moment?
I think it might be.
It's Aaron Bruce. He's taken the mark and he will line up again to try and kick his 201st goal. On a big occasion for Aaron Bruce, the day where he becomes the NEAFL Games record holder.
Well, this one would be the icing on the cake. I think he would have had this one penciled in when he realised it was going to be the record-breaking game for him up against the side of the former record holder. But to score what may well be the final goal in a very big win would be, well, about as good as it can possibly get.
A ground where he's played plenty of football throughout his career. Aaron Bruce kicking to the Manuka swimming pool end. Misses to the right.
We've done everything we could to try and get him over the line twice this afternoon, Ed. I don't know what else we can do for him.
Quick kick in comes to Carroll, who takes the mark on defensive 50 for the Thunder. Indicated that he was going to go long, and he does. He kicks it towards the broadcast side of the ground. Baker flies, knocks it down. Owen Orban trying to get to it. He does gather Owen Orban, but he takes it over the boundary line under pressure there from Jess Butterick, and we'll get a boundary throw in between wing and half forward for the Canberra Demons. Couple of opportunities for Aaron Bruce in this last quarter, and he did drop a mark inside 50 in the third term, but he has had a pretty good day out. 23 disposals and 11 marks. Not bad by anyone's measure, spending most of the time behind the ball. Hardy gives it back to Smout. Smout ran into trouble, gave it to Harper, who was sort of kneeling, but stood up in time to get the ball. Kicks it very nicely to Matt Vardaniger, who goes into the pocket. Bruce is there again, and Aaron Bruce this time takes another mark on the chest.
We're not going to make a big deal out of this, Ed.
No,
okay, we're just going to sit quietly here and just admire the kicking style of Aaron Bruce. We'll just see what he can do here from deep in the pocket because, well, he's had a day. He's had a real day to remember. And, well, there we go. No pressure on him at all now. The siren's gone.
I've completely run out of Aaron Bruce material to tell you, other than that, of course, his brother Josh kicks plenty of goals for St Kilda, and Aaron Bruce spent time on the Sydney Swans list. With the final kick of the day, the Canberra Demons captain, he starts his approach. It's a tight angle. He'll go with the right foot, drop punt. And yet again, he misses to the right. 3 behinds in the final quarter for Aaron Bruce. He won't mind because he's led his side to a massive victory here today at UNSW Canberra Oval at full time. It's the Canberra Demons. They've kicked 28-19, 187. And they've beaten the NT Thunder 6-6-42. They've broken all sorts of records in the process. The highest ever score by the Canberra Demons, their highest ever winning margin, and importantly, a percentage boosting win as they try and search for a place in the NEAFL finals.
I would suggest, without digging through the archives, that's probably the highest ever score by any Canberra side in the NEAFL competition. I'm getting a prospective nod of the head there, bearing in mind there's been a few clubs from the ACT over time, and 145-point win. Let's see if we've got these correct. Actually, let's go off. Oh no, we'll go off what we've got here because we've got Andrew Swan with 5 goals for Canberra, Kel Evans with 4. I then have Maguire with 3, Fall with 3, Hardy and Carr with 3 as well. Moline bagged a couple, Paik got a couple, and then singles. to Powell, Osborne and Pollock. For the NT Thunder, it's a considerably shorter list. Rioli with 3, Chris Williams, David Johnston and Nigel Lockyer with 1 apiece. And the Thunder, rather sadly for them, going scoreless, or going goalless in the last quarter, finishing up 6-6-42. But for the Canberra Demons, it was 28-19, 187. And Eddie, I know you've been talking in telephone numbers largely this afternoon with the Canberra Demons stats, but maybe you can pick out a couple for us there, and then a couple of the records that may well have been pushed aside this afternoon.
Yeah, Jordan Harper, an extraordinary afternoon, especially in that second half. 39 disposals for him, 8 marks, 8 clearances and 4 inside 50s. Mitch Maguire with 34 disposals and 8 marks as well. 32 disposals and 15 marks and 8 inside 50s for Angus Baker. Cal Evans was very busy early, 29 disposals, 11 marks, 8 inside 50s and 4 goals. 28 touches for Alex Smout, 24 and 12 marks for Aaron Bruce, the captain. 22 disposals and 11 marks for Tom Highmore. 21 disposals for Mitch Hardy. I beg your pardon, for Sam Martin, 20 for Hardy, and 20 for Carroll, Brodie Carroll, the leading possession winner for the NT Thunder. He toiled hard today, as did Kieran Parnell, who finished with 19, 18 for Templeton, and also for Jack Hanneth, who fought hard in the ruck. Unfortunately for the NT Thunder, this is the second highest losing margin in their history by a point. They lost to Sydney by 146 points in round 17 of 2017. So this result today, the second highest losing margin in NT Thunder history. It's also their 4th lowest ever score, 6-6-42, of course, as we mentioned. Canberra's highest ever score and their highest ever winning margin. Is quite nice scenes here as both sides and the East Lakes side honour the Canberra captain, Aaron Bruce, on the day where he becomes the NEAFL's games record holder, and he gets a standing ovation from everyone involved as he makes his way off the ground.
It's a team sport, but it's great to acknowledge the efforts of individuals, and a great guy and a man who I think still has plenty of footy left in him. And he salutes the crowd and all the players who have escorted him off the ground. He gets a kiss from his family, and congratulations to Aaron Bruce, who is now the NEAFL Games record holder. And Eddie, I can't really think of a better way to wrap it up from here at Manuka this afternoon. No,
absolutely, Chris. Just a quick update on that other game at Giants Stadium. At the moment, it's Aspley 6-13-49. They lead the Giants to a 5-6-36. And as we look ahead to next week, round 17 of the NEAFL, these two sides, we see the Canberra Demons hosting Southport next week, and the NT Thunder will host Redland next Saturday night. On behalf of Chris Coleman, myself, Eddie Williams, Daniel from Bar TV, and everyone involved in today's NEAFL TV broadcast, thanks for joining us. Plenty more NEAFL action to come this weekend and next weekend as well.